to the dialogue.
The 10th episode anniversary.
Wow!
Here we are. It's a very special day.
I want to die.
We're going to try to go the whole episode without having to cut because one of us said something that can't be out there at all.
Because we don't say that ever. Those things.
We are perfect human boys.
Yeah, we're not stupid.
Well,
we always...
No, we're stupid.
Oh.
We're pretty damn
We're
stupid.
very dumb. Oh. But this is also a special episode.
10th episode.
Because we're going to be talking about 3 movies that they're not... They don't have to be our all-time, like,
okay, hold
definitive.
on.
You explain it, because I'm going to
We were originally, it was like, all right, pick your favorite movie. But after some of these viewings, some of us were like,
well,
I can't even go that high.
That's not totally true.
I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Kyle from the beginning said that wasn't necessarily his favorite movie. He just was like, it was like,
yeah,
the one you're like leaning towards right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I decided to pick it was like, all right, fuck it. This one's probably going to be the most interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah. So we went with Garfield, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the Emoji Movie. Yeah.
So basically, what our favorite movies are. One of our favorite movies are today, as of October 2020. But they could very well change.
October
but we'll get to that.
16th, 2020. I'm curious to when this is actually like released. So it's currently October 16th, 10:39 p.m.
So if you've been watching
Friday,
if you've been watching or listening to the podcast and you've listened to all 10 episodes,
9. I guess this would be the 10th.
This would be the 10th. You're too cool for
school.
For stool.
And too cool for stool.
I just don't poop.
You just don't.
All right, guys, we're not gonna cut once. Fuck.
You're just so
too cool.
If you listen to all 10 episodes, you will never poop again. Congratulations.
Good job, everyone.
Yeah, but seriously, thank you.
Why did you touch it?
Because this is the people
the audience.
listening.
This is the audience.
This is the audience.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Fuck you. I'm living out of my car. Support our Patreon coming soon. I'm currently in between jobs. We don't actually have a Patreon yet, but when we do, you'll be the first to know. I'm a patriot.
Why has God abandoned us? The dialogue. Movie news.
The diagrog.
The diaphragm.
Oh, my name's Gage.
My name.
Scoobity doo bop.
Skidly bop do that. That one's Micah.
That one's Kyle.
Yeah.
Movie news.
Oh my god.
Why did my thumb look so weird? Oh, that's disgusting.
All right, stop thumbing me.
All right.
Let's get it.
All right, so
let's get right into the news.
Let's take this seriously. The nudes?
The news.
Go for it.
All right. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of news today. So first and foremost, I want to get your reaction on this, especially Gage. But they're doing a Mad Max spin-off called Furiosa.
Yes.
Based on the chick. And you know who's
we
playing
talked about this
Furiosa? No, I don't think we have.
sure?
Not on the
Positive.
podcast.
Okay.
Because this is new news. New news. Okay, so do you know who's playing Furiosa?
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh wait, so is she gonna be
It's
younger?
a prequel. It's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Okay.
Well, I know you do not like that.
Gage loves Anya Taylor-Joy.
So much.
So I didn't. When I was talking about, hey, let's do a podcast, it wasn't because I wanted to just shit talk people and shit on actresses/actors who I'm not a fan of. Mm-hmm. However, I am not excited for this movie for 2 reasons. One, because it's based on a character in a movie that I'm not very fond of to begin with.
Who
And
originally
they're-
played her?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're just casting somebody who I'm not a fan of.
I don't even think she really looks like her at all. Like, if you're gonna
I
go
don't
with the
know.
prequel,
Anya Taylor-Joy is just like that. Right now, she's like
Isn't she in a
the
lot of
go-to.
stuff?
She's just like
Yeah.
the go-to
yeah,
let's
like,
just cast her and everything now.
Chalamet and Anya Taylor-Joy, we need
I
them.
mean,
You've
fair
done that
enough.
voice so many times. I'm like, what is that
It's
voice?
his that's his impression of like just like the mob basically.
Yeah, the mob, the retarded masses who are like, I like Snickers. Oh, fuck!
Sorry.
This just turns into a red letter media.
Jesus Christ, help me!
Hands up, fucko. Anyway,
Yeah, so that's the news.
I don't. But you made the comparison to Timothy Chalamet, and I actually think is a really good comparison. It's
He's
not,
like the most boring
Listen,
actor who's popular.
I'm not talking about them as a person. I'm not trying to like shit talk them as human beings. It's just like as far as like them as actors.
Thanks
I'm
for the
just
clarification.
not
I was a little worried.
Not a huge fan. And I think the New Mutants, because we talked about that one. I feel like that's a good example of
She
like.
was so good in that. She was the best part of that movie.
Well, okay.
I didn't even know what the fuck she was saying half the time.
That's the kind of the point that I'm getting to is like
We like,
she.
we like to be genuine on this podcast.
Yeah.
What's the point of having a podcast if you're going to be like, we're going to be politically correct and be nice about everything
So,
for humans. Shit on us
Your
if you
long
want.
neck is just like going out.
Oh,
of
and you
frame.
will.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
What I was trying to say was just that she was obviously miscast in the New Mutants, and I think that's due to her popularity is just like, oh, we have to cast her and everything because she was in Split.
What?
You guys are being it's getting too ADHD for me today.
Continue.
He's whispering shit
I
in my
know.
ear.
I'm not blaming one of you.
Continue.
I'm just gonna give up there.
You're just talking about the New Mutants?
Yeah,
Yes, just how
miscast.
she was miscast. I feel like because she was in Split and she has big eyes, and she has oh man, her eyes are so expressive.
They cast her because she has big eyes.
No, I mean literally though, because she's expressive. She has
Mm-hmm.
expressive eyes, so we have to cast her in every movie ever known
Which
to
is
and man.
interesting that you say that because I find her to be
I
one of
know.
the least expressive actresses of all time.
It's just
And I'm just in the middle of here, like,
Should I make a mark?
no, it's cool. I mean, unless
I have a hot take.
what?
I think. Okay, both actresses, I'm not like, oh fuck, if they're in a movie, I gotta run out and see it immediately because I'm like a Charlize Theron fan or a fucking Anya Taylor fanatic or whatever the hell. Joy. I was trying to.
Almonds Taylor Joy.
Almonds Taylor Joy. Like and subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's Almond Taylor Joy.
It's Eggs Benedict Cumberbun.
Bun.
Yeah.
Food.
No, so like both actresses. I'm not like.
You're not.
But I have a hot take.
Yeah.
That might piss you guys off, but
They're so hot.
Are you ever going to get to this? Take?
Yeah.
no,
yeah,
I'm just gonna
tell us.
keep beating around. Let me explain. I'm gonna keep beating around the bush. Because,
Whatever I say will be the headline tomorrow. Sorry.
my name is Barack Obama.
We're never gonna just say it.
All right, I think Charlize Theron. I think
Charlize Theron.
Theron. Charlize Theron's character, hot take,
Yeah.
is the most interesting character of Mad Max Fury Road. You can disagree with me, but I think he outshines.
The most interesting-
I think he
hold on.
outshines.
The most interesting
outshines.
character.
She outshines.
The most
Did I say
interesting
he? Yeah.
character of Mad Max Fury Road is the dirt. I'm just being
Okay,
honest.
I will say
They're all boring as
Kyle, I
shit.
don't think you're wrong. Kyle, I don't
Yeah.
think you're wrong, and I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
compared to
because
fucking Tom
there's
Hardy.
there's no other character to really latch onto in that entire movie. It's just Charlize Theron, and you're on board because that's the only character with motivation or goals.
She's
you know?
bald. I like her.
She's bald.
So I mean, I get what you mean, but
Yeah.
just because she's the
I
only
don't
character.
disagree with you guys either. That movie.
You like her because she's bald?
No, I mean like she's.
I think it comes from this point of view of like I was always frustrated because they chose to focus on her so much, and the movie's called Mad Max, and they give
Yeah.
Mad Max like almost nothing to do in that movie, and then
But to be fair, there was like I don't know, like what 3 other Mad Max movies before that.
yeah, but that doesn't justify Mad Max Fury
Right.
Road, a sequel to a trilogy that's like what 30
Yeah.
years old, 20 years old.
But I mean, if you were gonna
And
make a
we're
spin-off
just gonna-
from that movie,
But like,
I don't
why?
know.
Why even make this?
I mean, why didn't you just make Mad Max Fury Road like just call it Furiosa and not even have Mad Max in it? Like that's honestly, I think it's coming from this like frustrated point of view that's kind of, I want something that can't happen kind of thing. So I feel like it's pointless to complain because I'm complaining about things that are just like meaningless. So
I mean, to be fair, like I don't know, I'm not like a huge, like as far as like the whole franchise, I'm not like a huge Mad Max fan. Like, although I really like Fury Road, but you know, it's not because of the characters; it's because of the fucking spectacle and the action and the,
that movie.
That's why everyone likes that movie.
Fury Road is.
I don't like that movie.
Fury Road is weird. It's a weird movie because I've gone so up and down on that movie over the years.
Fun fact.
And I think I'm back to
not liking.
I'm not a big fan of Fury Road.
It was the first movie I ever saw in theaters that was rated R.
Wow.
Fun fact.
Wow,
I will say I definitely think Road Warrior is the best by a long shot.
So I actually haven't seen
Yeah.
any of the other. What was yeah?
I was agreeing with you. I also haven't seen them.
Yeah,
I
so
knew what you were going to say.
I haven't seen. Yeah, like I didn't even finish what I
I knew what
said.
you were going to say. You haven't
right.
seen the other ones, and I was like, yeah, because I
All right.
agree. I'm
All
on.
right.
I'm on the same.
So apparently,
only-
me and Micah have also not seen
Just
the other
Fury
3
Road.
movies, just Fury Road.
I haven't seen.
So we're coming at it from
the
a different
third one,
perspective.
Beyond Thunderdome. Yeah.
I do want to see all
Okay.
the other ones though.
I think
for
I
sure.
started watching the first one, and I was like, I can't do this.
I don't.
I need to give it.
The
another
first one's
shot.
kind of like weird. The second one's like.
I thought the
so
editing
good.
was bizarre in the first one.
Road Warrior is like very similar to Fury Road in a sense, but I don't know. I mean, I think I've heard the argument that all Mad Max movies kind of like Mad Max is the main character, but he's also kind of like sidelined. And from what I remember about Road Warrior, like they kind of do the same thing. Mm-hmm. But I mean,
like it's all about who he encounters.
but I mean, still like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, in Road Warrior, like Mel Gibson is maybe it's just.
Maybe you just like Mel Gibson. Maybe
Well, I
that's-
mean, I do, but this was back before I even really knew who Mel Gibson was when
Okay.
I first watched it.
Gail Mibson.
Like maybe it's just his performance. I don't know what it is, but you're able to latch onto the character a lot more. I mean, you're not really. There's nothing there as far as Tom Hardy and Mad Max in the new one.
But like you
goes.
guys said, I mean, I kind of agree with you. All the characters are kind of flat, but I mean, I still like the movie because it's kind of one of those movies that's like, I don't fucking care. It could be played by a plank of wood, but like the visual, it's a visual masterpiece.
I just imagine, in Ed, Ed, and Eddie, the one kid that actually.
You know what? I thought of that too.
Car.
What was his name?
I don't know.
He's like the little like bald kid. He's like,
I
what
don't
do you
know.
think?
I just
Plank?
thought the whole plot was dumb. It was like, let's go to this place.
It's not about the plot.
Let's go back.
It's not about the
Brilliant.
plot. It's not about the story.
I just don't like it.
It's not about the actors, you dingus. It's about the explosions and
A lot of people
and the music.
A lot of people have told me that I'm like, I only watch movies for like the visuals or whatever. Mad Max Fury Road is like proof that like if you had a movie that was just visuals, I would not like
If I'll
it.
be honest, I think Gage would agree with me. I feel like I can't fucking predict your taste at all. The things that we think that you would love, you're just like, eh. And the things that we didn't, that we were like, eh, you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
like
amazing.
randomly out of the blue, I was like, oh my gosh, spectacular now. Oh! Like just out of nowhere.
Your favorite Spider-Man movie is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So good. So good. So good.
Yeah.
So excited for Jamie Foxx to come back. Let's go.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Furiosa.
Yeah, that's all the news we have for today. It was
Wait, no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
You
it
had
was.
more.
Do we have more?
You said you had 2.
Yeah, I did.
We've talked about only 1.
Tricked you. You got
Are
pranked.
we done? Are we done talking about Furiosa?
Yeah.
Or?
We didn't,
April
we didn't
Fools.
get pranked. He forgot.
You guys,
Shut up.
You guys say everything you need to say.
Yeah.
Not very excited.
Yeah,
Wait,
me neither.
wait,
I'm
wait,
probably
wait,
not even
wait.
gonna see it.
Question. I read that Chris Hemsworth was supposed to be in it. Is that true?
I think so. Maybe. I should really.
I'm actually reasonably excited, but that's me.
Is George Miller doing it? That's my question also.
Honestly, anybody could be in it. I like Fury Road enough, just as like an action movie. Turn your brain off, enjoy a popcorn flick kind of thing. So,
I really like
Yeah, it does have Chris Hemsworth. I should have mentioned that.
Okay, I don't
so that's
know.
kind of my perspective on it.
I really like Mad Max in theory, like as far as like these new ones go,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're just gonna do the Fury Road thing, I don't know. I
think you were pretty disappointed that Mel Gibson wasn't in that movie.
Oh, I mean, that's
Also,
well, I will say not at the time, but like in hindsight, like as I grow older, I am like having sat on the movie more and having seen more Mel Gibson movies and appreciating.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it would have been cool to have like an older, but I don't know. I think that was still in that time.
I bet you they're still gonna do it. I bet you.
I think they should. I mean,
just cut me off completely. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. You want to make out? You want to make out? I was saying. I think that was like still in that time where like people weren't hiring Mel Gibson.
I think so too. I was actually thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. You know, could be getting a Spider-Verse. Anything can happen.
Mel Gibson is just like coming in on a motorcycle in Spider-Verse.
What if Mel Gibson plays one of the Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire.
Jesus.
All right, we moving on?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this new Netflix movie coming out called Don't Look Up, and the cast is revealed. And I just wanted to bring this up. I don't know really anything about the plot, but actually I do. It has a description right there. The story follows a pair of astronomers who try to warn everyone on Earth that a giant meteorite will destroy the planet in 6 months, and it's a comedy.
Oh.
This movie stars a giant pair of ass cheeks.
Adam McKay is writing and directing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How come?
Hold on. Listen to the cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Timothy Chalamet, Kate Blanchett, Jonah Hill, Ariana Grande, Matthew Perry, and Meryl Streep.
That's a big cast.
So like everyone Gage has ever hated ever.
I have a Okay. All right. First, before we get into this,
Is Anya Taylor-Joy in it? I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I just want to point something out.
You don't like Jennifer Lawrence, do you?
Go ahead.
When you said Adam McKay, did you notice what our voices did?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Why is it now? I think 10 years ago when I thought of Adam McKay, I was like, Anchorman, fucking Step Brothers. Now when I think of Adam McKay, I think of, okay, well, I'm assuming why there's so many big actresses and actors in
I liked
this.
Vice.
I think this is probably going to be something like political, let's be honest. I think it's going to be like a political thing. You're not answering because you agree with me.
Yeah.
I feel like Matthew Perry is really, really random though. Like just the dude from Friends, Chandler.
Apparently Matthew Perry. Well, I don't. Okay,
I've been imagining Tyler Perry this whole time.
You thought you said Tyler Perry.
Oh, Friends, right?
Yeah.
Hello, how you doing?
It's Medea.
What was I saying?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it'll probably be like I guarantee it's probably some like something political.
Yeah.
Adam McKay's been doing like exclusively like
I don't know.
politically driven
When I see casts like that are just like the top Hollywood, like I don't like the word elites, but I mean, come on. I mean,
Meryl
Streep,
Streep owns
DiCaprio,
Hollywood.
like Jesus Christ. I don't know. Jennifer Lawrence. To be honest, I'm not gonna be on board with your movie just because you cast the most famous people.
They casted one of the two boring bitches. They casted Timothy and not Anya, so
You said that, not me.
Welcome back to We Shit on Every Hollywood Actor and Actress.
go watch
podcast.
our movie and shit on us. It's y'all fair in the
Wouldn't
game.
be as bad if we didn't like also want to make movies, but
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know. And the Adam McKay, and then you throw in the Adam McKay thing. It's so frustrating because I really like the style of Vice and The Big Short, but the subject matter can be a little much, especially Vice.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Even though there's like nothing indicating, it's weird. There's nothing.
I mean, the plot says it's about astronomers trying to warn people on Earth about a meteorite coming.
It'll be a climate change thing, I bet you.
That's what I was gonna think.
Really?
Yeah. You were going to think.
Or no,
that?
I was gonna say I'm so fucking brain dead right now.
thinking of maybe going in the future to possibly think that.
Go ahead.
That's how I talk. That's really good. That's how I talk. So my thing is, I was going to and then I was gonna think about possibly saying this thing that was going to.
Hot take?
Hot take.
Hot take.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, it's weird. It's fucking Adam McKay movie with a bunch of. I mean, okay, I'm looking at the picture right now, and even just based off the names, This literally seems like the last like couple Oscars. He just like went down his row of seats and was like, all you guys just want to be in my movie? Like
It's
it's
too
fucking,
much.
Like I don't know.
I think it's crazy.
That's
I think
what
it's
makes me
awesome.
think it's gonna be some like grand like political message.
Yeah.
So
It's-
hold us to that.
Do you know what we need
Remember
to do?
this podcast.
If we become famous, we need to get all the elite, big-time conservative actors and have, like, an ensemble cast with, like, Mel Gibson and shit.
Mel Gibson and the other one.
All of those guys. And girls.
And Denzel Washington?
I don't know.
Question mark?
He just seems like a rational human being.
Yeah, I was gonna.
you know?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Vince Vaughn.
Welcome to the podcast where we.
Vince Vaughn? Vince Vaughn and Mel
Oh,
Gibson.
Okay. All right.
Wow. Not a whole lot of people I know.
Clint Eastwood. Anyway.
Politics.
Take a poll.
Is that all the movie news? Literally
That's
all the
it.
movie news?
Furiosa and
Damn.
liberals.
Okay. This is something we didn't talk about before we started this, but like, what order are we going to talk about these movies?
Oh.
I had a really interesting idea for that.
The order we watched them in?
No, I was gonna say the order, we could discuss it right now. The order in which, like, when it first became our favorite movie. Like, if you can remember.
It's too,
Like,
it's too
I
complicated
don't know.
for me.
when it was first released. We could do it in order
Why
of...
don't we just go in like a fucking. Don't
Ew.
don't vomit on the podcast, Gage. Ew.
I mean, we could do that.
I don't care. Sure.
No.
All right. So, if you for some reason skipped the first part, for the 10th episode, we're doing our favorite movies. For right now, they're kind of. Micah's definitely sure this is his favorite movie.
100%.
The most sure
Not
out
even
of all of
close.
us in this room.
Not even close.
So let's hear what Macaw's favorite film
Macaw.
ever is.
K-O.
Micah.
Gay.
My favorite film is The Iron Giant.
So we all watched the. Wait, no, we didn't all watch this together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
I watched it. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we did.
It came out in 1999 and stars Vin Diesel. Kyle,
Why me?
you are Vin Diesel.
I'm not. Oh, I have a Vin Diesel impression that I've been doing.
It's very good.
We'll save it. Let's
We'll save it?
It'll come in naturally through this discussion.
All right.
All
We
right.
gotta let it happen naturally. Come on.
All right, yeah. So I first saw this movie on Netflix when I was like 17. I didn't
That's
see.
surprisingly old. You know.
I
I know,
I feel like-
because like I said, it came out in '99, so a lot of people my age just saw it when they were just kids.
A whopping 3 years ago.
Yeah, and so I was 17, and I was sitting in my basement.
Don't say 17 like that. I don't
I
like
was
that.
17.
I was 17. I was a minor. And then this movie. Okay. Movie.
Okay, this is call me a wimp all you want. I'm pathetic.
Mike is a wimp.
It was the first movie to ever make me like shed a tear, ever.
Wow, what a pussy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even though,
He was
like
what-
last night, all three of us were like,
Yeah, he was like, I remember the part too. He was like, Superman. And I was like, fuck you, man.
how do you not, dude? I'm sorry. Maybe we're all just a bunch of bitches. Well, I guess I should speak for myself.
Nah, I'm a bitch.
Kyle.
I was looking at Gage's face. We all felt something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean.
I kept looking over at Sid to see if she was like.
Spoilers! If you haven't
Spoilers
seen
for the Iron Giant.
if you haven't seen the Iron Giant for some reason, what are you
Like,
doing?
Yeah. I mean, interesting story about the Iron Giant. I mean, this won't take long, just a little bit, like, backstory. So the last animated movie that they did before the Iron Giant, like, didn't do well at all. Like, it tanked. And
What
so,
movie was it?
like, The Road to El Dorado or something.
Oh, what is it? Okay, what? This is a Warner Brothers movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they didn't give the Iron Giant like a big budget, and in fact, they like pushed their release date like up by a lot, and they're like, get it done by this date. And so there were a lot of people that were like saying they were working round the clock and like never got a chance to like sleep or anything, and they're like, it's impossible, we literally can't do this. They got it done in time, and because The Road to El Dorado did so poorly, they didn't even try to market the Iron Giant. Like there were not really commercials on TV, not a whole lot of trailers, and it bombed at the box office.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
It bombed by like quite a bit. And Brad Bird said he went to a local movie theater near him the day it came out, and there was no poster for it up. It was just a piece of blank paper that said The Iron Giant, and it was in the furthest, smallest theater back. And when he went back there was a standee, but it was missing a leg and was like leaning to the side. And he went in, and there was one other person in there, and he watched the whole thing.
That's really sad because like nowadays it's like such a cult classic.
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
technically a cult classic now because it was not popular at all when it first came out.
I remember when I was a little kid seeing like ads for it, like on my
VHSs and stuff.
Yeah, like back when. In case you're too young to know what a VHS is, it's like a
VHS.
I don't know. I hate it when people say that because it's like, okay, like even if you were born before us, you're not like
No.
you're not it's not like you've never seen a VHS.
Dude, it's a
before.
little sad. I talked to kids in my high school, and I was like, "Yeah, I used to have a VHS of that," and they're like, "A what?" And I was like, "You know, like a VHS tape." Like they're like, "Oh, so like a cassette tape," and I'm like, "That's for music." But
They know what a so why do they know what a cassette tape is? Because that's like fucking.
they're stupid.
You remember something from like 1992, but you don't remember. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
You have Google, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna explain to you what
What's a
VHS is.
VHS tape?
So
Anyway.
yeah, but like I don't know, you'd bring home fucking I don't know, like the Three Musketeers with the Disney characters on VHS or
Yeah.
something. And actually, fun fact.
Mm-hmm. Hot take?
A little bit of a side. No, not a hot take. More like a
Cold take?
lukewarm take.
Okay.
Not even a take. It's just something I remember. I remember when I was a kid. I remember that actually. Do you know what I'm talking about? By the way, the Three Musketeers.
Yeah,
like Disney movie.
with Mickey and
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about. You're not just nodding. Just a nod. Whatever.
He doesn't watch animated movies. He's too cool.
No, okay, this is when I was like, I don't know, like, who knows when that came out. But, like, I remember that was the first movie that, like, my parents were like, because, like, when DVDs were becoming, like, it was between the transition between VHS and DVDs, and that was the first movie my parents were like, oh, I don't know what version of it you wanted, so we got a version with VHS and a version on DVD or something.
It's so interesting because both of you guys are just like a couple years older than me, maybe
Yeah.
like 1 or 2, but like by the time I could remember things, it was like over. Like
Yeah.
you didn't go to the store and see VHSs. When the furthest back I can remember, you went and you got DVDs. But I had an older brother, so our house was just already filled with VHSs.
Right.
But I don't think in my lifetime I ever remember my parents buying a VHS tape.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how young I was. I have to look up when that movie came
But
out.
you guys, it could have been a year or 2 earlier that you guys can remember.
I remember watching movies on VHS all the time. I don't remember buying any.
Okay. My parents would just bring them home. I wouldn't go to the store and be like,
I love how this is the Iron Giant conversation.
no, I mean, it's, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's just,
We can talk about what you think about it. We're just going down memory lane right now.
it's, yeah, dude, it's a little nostalgia.
I think I had the Iron Giant VHS for a little bit after I watched it on Netflix. Just because I saw it at some thrift store and I thought it was really cool. It had the
Mickey, Donald, Goofy, the Three Musketeers. This was 2004.
that came out in 04.
So I was like 5.
Dang,
basically.
I was 4. But anyway, my Iron Giant VHS had a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone like teaser trailer, and it was like so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love the Iron Giant because like, not to be like totally like over the top here, but I don't think there's like a single thing wrong with it. It makes me laugh every
Well,
time.
I mean, it's your favorite movie.
Yeah.
So.
Makes me laugh every single time I watch it. I get a little glossy eyed in the right moments. The voice acting is phenomenal. The mix of 2D and 3D animation is just like seamless.
Everything okay here, Paul? You got something you want to share?
Glossy eyed.
It's a term.
Glassy
I've
eyed.
heard people say either.
I've never heard
both a lot.
glossy.
We're gonna look this shit up and prove you wrong, or I'm gonna look like an idiot.
I mean, even if it's not, you could start saying it. It's
You're
fine.
a fucking idiot.
Yeah, glossy eyes is a thing.
No, it's not it. No.
We're all friends here.
It is glassy eyed. Fuck.
Well, we and then you like reassuringly drink your big gulp
My big gulp.
from Wendy's.
Anyway, I just even like the ambient sound of this movie, and we were talking about it while we were watching it. It wasn't like shot and filmed like it felt like it was filmed as if it was a live action movie.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I was gonna say because I also really like this movie. I think we all do. You mentioned that it was your favorite movie at one point when you were a kid. I think it was a lot of people's favorite movie.
Go watch it, idiot.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I swear to God, this is like a lot of people's like favorite at least animated movie of all time. Like it's like always like either like
So good.
one of the top, you know. I also hear people always mention Atlantis. Wasn't that also Brad Bird? Or was
No.
that somebody else.
No.
It has a very similar animation style.
Which is weird because Atlantis was
Disney, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wonder if like a similar animation studio. Anyway, I don't know. But where the fuck was I going with that? Who knows? This is a normal thing on the podcast where I'm talking, I'm saying something, and then like here's the subject, and then we go on like a web of another subject to the point where I don't even remember.
I didn't even interrupt you this time.
No, that was just me.
I feel good about it.
It's something that I haven't picked up on because I haven't seen enough animated movies. But how to distinguish that animated look between animated movies with that film look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what the differences are because I feel like the Iron Giant had that film look to it, but I don't have anything to. Like, I only notice it when they do the film look.
Yeah.
But when they don't, I'm like, why is this different? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe because we all three of us we watch it, but
Like there were shots.
we know it when we see it, but
There were angles.
There were shots
and
that
it
that you're
panned.
like, that does not seem like an animated movie thing. That is
Yeah.
like, I
Like-
feel like I'm watching an actual movie.
even
here.
though it's like clearly a cartoon, it's animated, it's hand drawn, like the way the angles, I know it's an animated movie, so it's not literally like angles, but it's like
perspective.
the perspective that it's drawn in the
Yeah.
movie, it has a very like filmic quality. It uses a lot of like film language, like the way like even like at the beginning he's talking to his mom at like the cafe, and like the perspective is like from like a low angle.
Yeah.
Like you don't see shit like that in
Yeah.
animated movies. You still don't. And like, you know, there's like they have like certain shots where it's like they're almost trying to
Make
like,
it seem like it's handheld
or
almost.
or like a tracking shot.
Can I
like,
ask you, like, what do you think normal animated movies do that's not like that? Because it
well, a lot of
doesn't
times,
compute with me. I don't
unless
know.
they're trying to do some fancy like most of the time you see just like a lot of like static.
just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And like if somebody moves across the area, it's just like it's like a side thing or it's just
Right.
forward or something. And it's hard to describe,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's obvious. Like but it kind of makes sense too because Brad Bird is also known for a lot of live action work
right,
too.
right.
So and there's actually,
he?
yeah.
All I know is Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and Tomorrowland.
but I mean,
But I mean he has experience directing.
yeah,
You could look up his IMDb too. I'm not entirely familiar with his earlier career.
Okay.
But like it has like a certain quality to it that's like, and even the way it sounds,
yeah.
you don't really realize it you don't notice the difference until you're watching them actually do it. But like if you, here's some homework. Watch The Iron Giant and then close your eyes. If you didn't know it was an animated movie, like if you were born as a blind person or something and you've never seen The Iron Giant and you were just listening to it, would you think it's an animated movie? Because my answer would be no, because like the attention to sound quality, the ambience, when people talk in a store or something, their voice has like reverb, so it sounds like they're like actually in that location. It wouldn't surprise me if like for outdoor scenes they actually recorded some stuff like out on location. Excuse me. You know, instead of just in like a studio.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's always what I've appreciated about it and found very interesting. Is it like, even though it's animated, it like there's things about it that like it feels like it's a
Right.
conventional.
I
know, dude. Yeah. Oh my god.
You're my dad now, or you've been Diesel?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
That's been
My
Diesel.
terrible Vin Diesel impression.
Oh yeah,
Okay, I just
so beautiful.
okay. I just wanted to say
It's more of a caricature than like an impression.
Brad Bird, I think, is like incredibly smart because the attention to like lifelike details. I don't think any of the three of us, if we were for some reason directing an animated movie, would ever think to put those details into that movie. Like there's a part where his mom is on the phone and like someone like bumps into her with the door and she's like,
Yeah.
hello, excuse me, and then just continues the conversation. Like it was just like a random little interaction and then continues on.
That's another thing too. That's the type of shit you see in live action
Yep.
movies, not animated movies.
Yep.
And
And
like those little tiny things.
you would see like
that make it seem
There was
lifelike.
a point that I noticed that too, but I can't remember what it was, and I was like,
There-
"Oh,
there's-
that's interesting."
There's several things like that, especially like the little things. Like it just rained and he's running out on the grass and like you can see it like splash up a little with every footstep. And like I honestly don't even know if I would have thought to be like, oh, it had just rained. Maybe we should do a little splat, little.
Yeah.
And he just did that several times where it's like a little tiny lifelike human interaction that had really nothing to do with what was going on, but it felt real.
Did Brad Bird like write the script for this and stuff? Was this like his like passion project?
He
kind of thing?
actually, so I also heard this, he actually pitched the idea because it's based on a book. And
Oh, it is?
It is. It's based on a
Okay.
book, and Brad Bird took a lot of liberties with it. In fact, he came to he was like, pitched the idea to direct it, and he came back and was like, hey, I really like it, but here's like my like twist on it. And he was like, what if this robot, what if a gun could have a soul and didn't want to be a gun? Like that was his premise. That's
Yeah.
what. And I really don't want to misquote this because I really don't remember, but someone really close to him, I think a family member actually died in a firearm accident, and so
okay.
that's where like his kind of inspiration for this, I guess,
Yeah.
may have come from. But that wasn't originally in the book, and he was just like, "Hey, let's try this. What if a gun had a soul and really didn't want to be a gun?" And they were like, "Okay."
That's how Warner Brothers executives sound.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So
we'll
it was.
check.
So they pitched to him to direct it, and then he pitched back, and they were like, "Yeah."
There's a lot of pitching going on.
I think which is strange.
That's how you pitch.
I feel like my favorite
That's how you
part.
jerk off.
My favorite part of the movie is like all the technical stuff, which is weird.
What do you mean?
Like I don't know. I love. I don't necessarily know what you call it for animated movies, but I love the production design, the set design.
Okay.
I think just every location feels so alive.
Like there's always something going on in the background.
Yeah, there's so much
Leaves are falling.
detail.
It's a very pretty looking movie.
Yeah, there's so
Like,
much detail, and like each location is so memorable. Like their house
Yeah.
for some reason, and the junkyard, and the cafe. Like it's just like all of these different locations that are memorable. And then like it's the colors and the lighting, especially the lighting is so good. And I don't know how you even go about doing that with animated movies, but it's so specific.
I noticed it definitely has a very specific. It has kind of like a warm color palette through most of it.
Until the end, and then
Yeah,
it's like
but otherwise it kind of has like a fallish kind of like.
yes,
you
I
know.
noticed that too this time
Yeah.
watching it.
I noticed all the backgrounds seem like they're like hand painted and like you
Yeah.
know, and it definitely seems like it's like a hand drawn movie, like with
It's-
pencil, paper, ink.
It's that perfect combination between the world feels real and grounded, but there's so much creativity going into
Right.
it. Like obviously there's things that aren't necessarily realistic, but like I love the design of just like the forest, and then like especially towards the end when like the snow and the forest, and then it goes into that town and that whole end like battle in that town. I just love the way it's all set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it feels so meticulous, but just
I
don't know.
I shouldn't say it's completely hand drawn because there's actually like a lot of like.
3D.
I feel like this was one of the first movies that was incorporating 3D. Was it the first? The 3D and hand
I talked about this during the movie.
Yeah.
Aladdin was actually the first to incorporate 2D and 3D together. I'm pretty sure, but this was one of the first to incorporate that. I actually on the like commentary they had to design a brand new software in order to get the 3D Iron Giant to be in the 2D environment. Which I
feel
thought
like
was
this
pretty
is
cool.
one of the first movies that like people saw, and it was like a prevalent use of it though throughout it.
Yeah, it wasn't just like one sequence.
Yeah, like where people, I remember, I just feel like that was like people were like, oh shit, like I've never seen this before.
Yeah, but people didn't like know it existed until like 5 years after it was released.
Oh Jesus, yeah, but I don't know. It's like because it's funny you say that though, because like, I mean, how many people tell you like, oh yeah, a favorite animated movie of all time, Iron Giant? Like I feel like that's such a popular, but it makes sense because it's a damn good movie. And you know what's interesting is I kind of also see like Well, I see why you would like it too, because like I don't know, maybe this was you didn't even like think about this, but like I noticed like, and I do like this about it too, the whole like 50s kind of aesthetic to it. That it's like it's the 50s, right? Not this.
Yeah, it's 50s.
Yeah, and there's sort of like the whole like everyone's. It's during a time period where everyone was afraid of like a nuclear fallout, so that's like a, kind of like a running theme throughout it.
So strange.
Yeah. And it captures that time period where like everybody was really talking about like aliens and UFOs and stuff.
And I really like how it subtly brought up like the past, like history.
Yeah.
Like his dad is never mentioned throughout the whole movie, but you get like a quick shot of his dad and like the Air Force like next to and they don't spoon feed you. You can just kind of infer.
There's a lot of that in this movie.
Yeah, you can just kind of infer that his dad died in the war, and his dad is not mentioned once.
No, not at all. And there's also this whole like thing about like again, there's no conversation that happens. You kind of pick up that like, you know, that guy who's like from the Secret Service or whatever.
Kent Mansley worked for the government.
Worked for the government. Yeah, he's harassing him and he's trying to like befriend his mom. It's almost like implied that like he's trying to like get with his mom and he's trying to like become his new dad.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like that guy that he has that really good relationship with.
Yeah.
The kind of the artsy like cafe looking guy.
The cat's meow.
Yeah, the sort of like turtleneck, like
Yeah.
looks like the kind of guy that would hang out at like a poetry
Matthew Perry.
bar and be like, all right, and like with the bongos and like I don't know what you call that.
That's why it's really important to really chew your food.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, there's a lot of great lines like that in this. A lot of great use of humor.
I also just love the character design too. Like the
Yeah.
look of that guy is just so
The chin,
perfect.
Conan
It's
O'Brien.
So,
Yeah, he looks like Conan O'Brien.
yeah.
Okay, a lot of people see an animated movie and they go, "Oh, it's for kids. It's for kids." This movie is funny throughout, regardless of your age. This is literally for every age. You can't just go, "Oh, it's animated. It's for children."
Yeah,
It's. I mean,
it doesn't treat the audience
children.
like it's stupid.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
children will love it, but adults are gonna pick up on so much, and the
Right.
humor is for all ages.
It really is just like it's not a kids movie. It's a family movie. But even then, like I feel like as an adult, like you just like, I mean, shit, dude. Like the part where at the end where like he's the fucking like they set the missile off and the Iron Giant has to sacrifice himself. Like that is fucking terrifying. Just everybody, and there's that line where she's like, I forget who asked, like, should we go to the bunker? And he's like, doesn't matter. Like that
won't
is
matter.
fucking dark.
Yeah.
And this is a kids movie technically. You know, like that shit's fucking dark. I feel like even when I watched it as a kid, I was like, Jesus.
How do you feel about the very ending? Do you think it kind of like retcons how meaningful that climax was?
I don't know.
I've kind of thought that sometimes where I'm like, I wonder if like it would hit even like I've never been like, oh, I wish it was just different. But I have wondered like I wonder if it would hit even harder if he just like exploded and died and then he sacrificed himself and they made a statue for him and then Hogarth was with his happy family and that was it.
But it gives me the warm fuzzies at the end.
I know, but I feel like it
Sets up its sequel, Ready
I like
Player
it.
One.
I like it. I like the movie and I like the ending, but I feel like stripping that final scene out of the movie would make it like a little bit more impactful. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really decide whether or not I'd like it more with or without. That's just me.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm pretty indifferent.
I think it's
Either
like a
way.
hindsight thing. It's like watching the movie and that climax is really sad and like, heartbreaking, and then like in hindsight knowing that he survives, it's like, all right.
The first time you watch it though, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, yay.
Yeah.
But it's also about like Hogarth kind of goes through like a very, very like blink and you'll miss it kind of character arc too. That's almost kind of in the background. Because he has that whole part, the tiniest glimpse you get in that is like when he's all hopped up on coffee and he's like, I'm hip, and he goes on that like long rant and
I
you
don't know
hear
how he does that. That thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. You know what he does So when he drinks a bunch of coffee and he starts talking, and I think he says
They can move up a grade too if they just did the stupid
Yeah,
homework, but
he's-
now they just beat me up and
Yeah,
take my lunch
he's
money.
talking about something about like the expectations that's like being put on him as like as a kid and stuff like
and
that.
it's supposed to be funny and like,
Right.
but if you actually like read into it, you're like, oh,
But it is part of the arc about how like you are what you choose to be kind of thing. Like so like he parallels with the robot. So like even if he does survive at the end, like the character still went through like a journey that like you can't retcon necessarily. So that's kind of why I'm like
No, not
You know.
I retcon the emotion of it.
the
right.
only line in the entire movie I don't like, because I was like feeling really sad, and then he said it, and I was like, all right, is like when he's going into the sky and he's like, I love you. And I was like, all right. I mean, a little on the nose. If he would have just been like, goodbye, I would have been like, fuck.
I don't know.
That's the only line
I see
in the...
what you're saying, but like I just like when I watch it, I'm just like
Yeah, that's the only line in
I
the
don't
whole
care.
movie where I'm just like,
I can see it.
Yeah.
It brings you-
I wasn't sure how to feel about that.
it brings you back to being like a kid and like
Yeah,
in
it's-
like a very wholesome way.
It feels like something a kid would say, though.
you know what a lot of people don't notice is that the Iron Giant doesn't even have a name.
Oh yeah,
He's just like, Giant!
Metal.
it's Superman.
Oh, yeah. Okay, really random tidbit. A lot of people didn't like.
God.
A lot of people didn't like how they used the Iron Giant in Ready Player One because like the whole thing about the Iron Giant is like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a gun. I have a choice. I don't want to be a gun. And then in Ready Player One, they're like, be a gun. Pew 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 pew
Yeah,
pew.
that's really dumb.
Pew pew. So they just totally just like used him for exactly what. But that's Ready Player One. It's a different movie. It doesn't matter.
Right. So yeah, all in all, I think we all like this
Yeah.
movie a lot. It gives me the
A plus.
I don't know why I don't own it on Blu-ray. I need to.
Yeah, I need to do it as
I
well.
want to get that cool steelbook that's like looks
Yeah.
like the.
I have the poster, an original 27 by 40, 1999 AR-15. I'm just kidding.
AR-15. You know that poster that turns into a machine gun?
Origami. I don't know. Guns.
It's a good movie. Go watch it if you
Yeah.
haven't. You can watch it with the kids. You can watch it with your grandpa.
I think it's on Netflix
Is it?
currently.
Okay.
It was at one point. That's where I originally watched it, but that was 3 years ago.
I
Who
wanna
knows?
watch it with my
I don't think
dad.
it is.
Dad, if you're watching for some reason, let's watch The Iron Giant.
It's a damn good movie.
Let's just have a good cry.
Watch it with the kids.
I would
Watch
give
it with your
a 3.5
21-year-old son.
out of 5.
I would give it an A plus,
If
5
I
out of
did rate
5.
movies.
A plus, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Cat's meow. All right, so what movie's next?
So the movie that I picked as one of my favorite movies. Now, I was also like between. I was having trouble deciding between this movie and Back to the Future, which is also another one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's my second favorite.
But I think I just how I made the decision was like, okay, I mean, what the fuck can we say about Back to the Future that has been said a million times?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go look at Back to the Future reviews, like, you know, and I thought that the movie that I would have picked is like definitely a lot more interesting, that's for sure. And if you've never seen it, this will be my pitch to you to go watch it. And the movie that I picked is 2016's Swiss Army Man. 2016, right? I think it came out.
I don't know.
I think 2016.
No idea.
Which is
26
funny because they made it sound like the year directed the movie.
Directed by 2016.
Coming out, Andrew Garfield.
Swiss Army Man, if you've never heard of it. I don't know why I said it like that. Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man is a movie directed by a directing duo. They refer to themselves as the Daniels because it's two guys and they're both their last name or first name. No, they're both their first names are Daniel. And before this is their first. I think this is both of their first movie. It's like their directorial debut. And before this, they were known for music videos. They did music videos. Their most popular music video, I would say, is if you've seen the what's it called? The Turn Down for What music video.
Where they're just having sex.
Where
with
there's
everything,
the dudes just like
humping everything,
just humping and like and
falling through
that
floors.
That woman's tits are like, this is just a stupid ass music. Funny enough, that guy in the beginning who's in that music video, that's one of the directors of the movie. So the guy who has like who's making everything happen in that.
It makes a
video.
lot of sense that the directors of that music video directed
they're
this
known,
movie.
If you look at their fucking all the work they've done, like they're
Bork.
All the pork they've done.
Hey man,
did I say Bork?
Check out this Bork.
You look at all the fork they've done.
Done a lot of forking. So yeah, if you look at the Daniels like past work, it was very clear why.
Because I was digging. Sorry, go ahead.
They're known for a lot of weird shit. They do a lot of their music videos in particular. You're just trying to make me laugh now.
Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I think they have another music video that's like it's for like a band called like Battles or something like that, and it's like the premise is this dude who's just like he's like in a mall and he's walking up an escalator that's going down and he just keeps falling like forever for like the whole music video.
Weird.
It's very strange. They do a lot of strange shit like that. And I've seen interviews with them, and their whole philosophy, they're like, for what they do, is they like to start out with just like a stupid, funny image that makes them both laugh. That's just like basically really, really dumb. But then they try to make like a interesting, beautiful story out of it. And that's definitely like reigns true to their movie, because the premise of the movie is basically... Well, first of all, it stars Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. And Daniel Radcliffe plays a magical farting corpse. Yes, really. With a see, we've said it to each other so many times, so we're used to it, but he plays a fucking farting corpse with a magical
Boner?
A boner erection that's a compass.
You know, just
And his mouth is like a water fountain.
Yeah, he
in
just does a
shower.
bunch of crazy shit. He's like this magical dead person, and you can ride him like a jet ski, and propel him across the ocean with his farts.
If you pull his arm
He
back,
probably
he chops.
And
he's a Swiss
Army Man. And it is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen, and I'm not even being like stupid, funny, ironic, haha. Like that's like, and that's what makes this movie fucking amazing to me, is that like they took such a dumb fucking premise that's just absurd, stupid, silly, childish, and by the end of it, I feel like crying my eyes out. And this was like the movie that like genuinely made me go like, okay, all right, it's official. You can make a movie about fucking literally anything. It's all about
Fucking anything.
anything, and you can, but it's all about how you do it. If you do it the right way, if you find the right way to execute it, you can make it work. And yeah, I don't know. You guys fucking say something about it, because I feel a weird spot.
It's pretty hilarious.
I know you're not as into it as I am.
Yeah,
clearly.
pretty hilarious. The first half of the movie is like, first 3/4 is, I don't know, like 60% of the movie is like gold in my opinion. And then like, I don't know, I feel like it could have been condensed to like a 50-minute short film.
I've just like been talking about it like it's like the second coming of Jesus, and then like immediately after you just contrast.
No,
them.
it's
like-
hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's just funny that like just like
Yeah,
there's
seriously, I would still give it a watch. It's absolutely hilarious.
It's not for everybody, clearly.
Near the climax, it kind of loses me, and the ending, I'm just kind of like, okay, but like, it's like,
All right.
but it's hilarious. You should give it a watch.
Gage, how do you?
It's one of the weirdest movies I've ever watched. And
Yeah,
it's like,
it's definitely like I'll just fuck it. I'll just
it's no
say,
Garfield, but
I'll just say more about it, I guess.
Let me flush my goldfish down my gullet
Okay.
really fast.
He shaves a man's beard with his teeth.
A little bit more background on the movie. This also played at Sundance Film Festival, and I think it won like the grand jury prize, like the top prize at Sundance, which I find very interesting. But also, according to a lot of publicists and news outlets, like when the movie premiered there, like half the people walked out after the first 10 minutes because they were just like, all right, this is too stupid. But it's also really sad because, I mean, it's like a fucking really, really good movie, and it's really heartfelt. There's a lot of things I like about it, which we will continue to talk about, which I don't know why I'm in this, like, weird...
I like Swiss Army Man.
Okay, cool.
Swiss Army Man, I think, is a great movie. I think I like it a little bit more every time I watch it. I think the message is really powerful, and... it's one of those rare movies that makes you laugh and makes you very sad at the same time. Can't really explain it. It's very melancholy. It's a visual poem.
What?
I was just thinking, it's kind of gay.
Oh.
Yeah, it is melancholy.
I forgot I was saying that yesterday because
Yeah.
Filthy Frank. Anyway.
Yeah. Don't blame us. Blame Filthy.
He's kind of gay. Oh no. Anyway.
That's my review of Swiss Army Man.
It's kind of gay.
The end.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's tonally, it's I really like the tone of the movie.
I think I also just like why a big part of why it's, and I said this last night, but like a big part of why it like resonates with me so much too is like, well, first of all, I saw it at like the exact right time. I saw it in like, I don't want to get too personal, but I arguably saw this movie like during like one of the hardest fucking times of my life. So that's a big thing. And then also just, what? Fucking what? What has gotten into you two?
See, I wasn't even going to say anything until you looked at me. I was like, did you hear that shit too?
Why is this a reoccurring thing on the podcast where Kyle's throat makes a weird sound and then me and Micah make eye contact to reassure each other that we both heard it?
Because he doesn't hear it.
me and Micah are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so...
Or some swallowing applesauce. Continue.
I fucking hate both of you. Every fucking episode. Every episode.
I can't help
At the end of the year, I want you to do a supercut and find every point in every episode where, like,
your throat, like,
or a
queefs.
booger drops out of my nose, or I might do a weird noise with my foot, and you guys are like, "What?" and have to derail the whole fucking thing and make me feel like I'm crazy because I'm looking at both of you, and you're both like. Fuck you. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's Daniel Radcliffe's best performance, I think.
Actually, though.
I think he's fucking phenomenal.
Have you seen Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince? Huh?
Well, that's an interesting thing because, like, this feels like, for me anyway, I feel like after this movie, he, like, finally...
broke out of the whole Harry Potter
Yeah,
thing.
the whole, like, where... Because for a while, I think people were like, I mean, he's a good actor, but, like, I just can't help but see him as Harry Potter because he did Harry Potter for so long. If you're still in that sort of mindset, you should watch this movie because it will break that.
great.
Like, I'm glad it took him. He only just had to play a fucking farting magical corpse to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, so okay, what is it now, you piece of shit? Fucking tell me.
I'm not even laughing. I'm just listening
Yeah,
to
he's
you.
so different in this movie.
What do I have, a fucking turd on my face? What is it? Jesus Christ!
There's just a guy shitting on your forehead.
I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal, but I make eye contact with both of you. You're just like.
Every time I think I'm crazy, but then I'm like, engages. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, anyway. Really good performance by both of them. I think Paul Dano, I think you said this in the past where Paul Dano's performance gets overlooked. Maybe it wasn't you who said that, but I feel like it was. Because, like, everybody's so focused in on
I mean, they're
Radcliffe.
both great in this movie, and they have great fucking chemistry.
Yeah, they are really good together.
Like, I can't imagine anybody else playing these roles. Like, the movie starts out, and, like, Paul Dano's character is just this dude on this, like, deserted island. At least you think it's a deserted island when you first watch it. I don't want to spoil too much yet, but...
Well, I think let's just...
Yeah.
Well, what I thought it
Should we
was.
just if we haven't really been talking spoilers, but from now forward, let's just go into
I
spoilers.
mean, we talked about the entire ending of the Iron Giant.
No, I mean for Swiss Army Man.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say. I mean, this is at the beginning of the movie, so it's like not a big deal. But I thought he was like on a deserted island, and then he like farts away to like a different like place, and like
Yeah.
he washes up on the shore of that place.
Well, I'm talking about the very beginning.
Okay.
But yeah, that does happen. But like, yeah, you see him and he's like fucking trying to hang himself. So like we start. That's another thing I like about this movie, and that
Suicide.
yes, I love watching people trying to kill themselves. It's my favorite. No,
Yeah, me too.
it's like it's this thing that I like in movies where it's like I like seeing people start from this like fucking dark fucking bottom of the barrel, like they start out in like hell essentially, and then that makes it so like when it ends in like a kind of your stereotypical like happy ending, you feel like it was fucking earned.
Yeah.
And that's something that I like about that. I see it like a trend in a lot of my favorite movies. It's like when you starting from such a fucking dark place and like being able to like break out of that, and like you feel like the movie earned that ending at the end instead of just like
I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Swiss Army Man and Iron Giant, and I know it sounds weird, but like I feel like
Excuse me?
I feel like both movies have a main character who is teaching the secondary character things,
yeah.
and in doing so they learn things about themselves.
right.
I like how self-aware this movie was about life, where it's like he's explaining like the littlest, tiniest. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess
I love that
I guess
too.
broad things about life that we don't even think about. Like he's like, well, we poop. There is a book called Everyone Poops.
Yeah,
and
'cause
it's just like all these like it's like
able-
what life is.
I also love I love that as a concept too. The fact that like Daniel Radcliffe is this dead body that can talk, and I just love the idea that like because he's this dead body that's been brought to life through whatever means, like he's like a blank slate. He's like a child. He doesn't know anything other than what Paul Dano tells him, and I love that as a concept, and it's also really entertaining, and it's a good excuse to like talk about all these like broad ideas. Well, it's like, well, what are human beings? What is life? What is being weird? And it's also like a big part of this movie too of like, I mean, shit. This movie's full of fucking fart jokes. So if you're not into fucking farting, like you're either gonna love this movie or hate it. I don't know why you'd love it because of the farting. I said that.
So
I said that weird, but like,
that's the true reason Kyle loves this movie.
yeah, because there's just a bunch of farts in it.
Yeah.
But they take farting and they make it this fucking. They turn it into like a fucking like deep analogy for life.
Why is it bad to fart? Why do people?
It's a metaphor for like the things that we keep in that we don't. Oh, you can't say that. Oh, you can't do that around people. People are gonna think you're weird. People are gonna, think you're gross or disgusting. And it's like, well, why the fuck do we keep all these things in anyway? Because those are the things that make us the most human.
Yeah.
And that's like the message that I like. I love that outlook on life personally. And I feel like that's very much like how I live my life already, which is why I'm like constantly like just shitting my pants in front of you guys all the time.
One thing I like that kind of sticks out to me from this is when he was on the bus, the Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Does he have a name?
His name's Manny.
Oh, right.
They call him Manny.
Manny, he's on the bus and he's like, I love the bus. I want to be on the bus forever. And like Paul Dano's character,
bus every day.
he wants to ride the bus every day. And Paul Dano's character is like, there's so much more. Because, I mean, Manny doesn't know anything about life. And like all he knows is this fictitious bus that he's been shown is what it kind of looks like. And he's like, I love the bus. I want to be here every day. And then Paul Dano's character is like, there is so much more to life than just this little bit I just showed you.
It captures that sentiment of like enjoying the little things, kind of.
Yeah.
Like everything just feels so I don't know, meaningful, I guess, the little things in Swiss Army Man. Because
like,
he's discovering them.
Through teaching Manny about them, he's like learning to appreciate them for the first time in a while, because you get the idea that he's like in such a low point which makes it like the perfect movie to watch. Especially if you're in like a dark place in your life. It's just like it's like you're almost even if you're not, it kind of brings you back into that thought process of like being depressed. Like seriously,
This movie makes you depressed.
This movie makes you depressed and makes you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
No, like but you know what I'm talking about? Like if you've ever been depressed in your life, like fucking like, and then when you're coming out of it, when you're kind of learning to like appreciate shit about, but it's always small shit. Like oh fuck, when I get out of this thing or whatever in this hard time or whatever, I'm gonna like kind of like when Manny says, I'm gonna ride the bus every day as soon as I get back. Like I'm gonna, you know, kind of thing.
Random shit.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's just something very deeply personal.
Do you know what
about
I
that.
like miss from it though? That I wish like it's just missing something, and I wish it had a prequel about Manny starring Timothy Chalamet, where it just shows how he came to be that dead body. And then his love interest can be Anya Taylor-Joy, and they can have the most boring sexual encounter of all time.
Most boring sexual
Hey,
encounter.
wanna fuck? Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know where that came from, but
I agree.
okay.
Funded by Adam McKay.
The problem is when you say shit like that, I have no idea how to
Go off.
transition
Yeah, go
into
off
another
of it.
subject.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about this movie that I tend to that is just there's a lot of shit I like because it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I've kind of recently discovered that. I think even like this year, and I remember you said something to me that was like, oh, "Come on, that has to be your favorite." It makes too much sense.
It does.
It just like even like the surrealism like aspect of it. I think I tend to like shit that's like very surreal. That's very like a heightened sense of reality, but more so like because it's coming from somebody's subjectivity. Mm-hmm. It's like a very specific thing of like we're portraying this like grand world, but because it's coming through how one person perceives life, kind of thing. And that's the shit that I like in movies, just in general.
Do you want to know the one thing that pisses me off about this movie? Like, genuinely, though. I'm not, like,
Sure.
messing around.
Okay.
The fact that, like, they're trying to get out of civilization, and they're, like, they think they're lost in the woods, and then at the end of the movie, the road's, like, right there.
Well, here's the
They've been dicking around building fucking, like...
What's the point?
I know. I'm thinking of, like, logistics. I mean, it would
Yeah.
totally wreck the movie, but, like, we're lost in the woods. Let's build some things so I can teach you about life. And then it's like, it's right there.
Yeah.
You're
But I
like,
mean,
you're like
you
in
know-
their backyard.
Right. I guess, okay. You do know that's what they were going for, though.
Like the whole thing is
Yes, I do, but it just like pisses me off that they were so close the entire time.
but you can almost argue
just logistically.
you could almost argue though at the like that fucking because you don't really know much other than what you see in the movie in the beginning is like it seems like he's stranded and he doesn't know where he's going, but like towards the end of the movie you fucking realize how close they were the whole time, and like it kind of sounds like he might have went out there deliberately because he was depressed.
Well, he
You know
ran
what I mean?
away and then he got lost, but it seems like he was like subconsciously not letting himself like
Right.
find
I mean, there's that
civilization.
part where they're fucking like he's checking the phone and he sees a car go by, but he doesn't react to it in like a oh shit, we're close. He reacts to it like he already knows, you know what I mean? So it almost kind of implies that like he knows he's just out there, and I mean towards the end of the movie they talk about like just staying out there forever.
yeah.
I think it's
Manny's the only one who doesn't know that they're not technically as lost as they
Yeah.
think they are, you know?
Interesting. Okay.
So it's very up to interpretation, and it's very much like, you definitely, if you want to like focus on like logistic, like practical things, you could tear apart. Well, I mean, the movie is
It's
about
about
a
a
magical corpse.
That farts.
It's more
and
so about
compass
his
boners and-
perceived.
yeah.
It's more thematically important than it is like those
Yeah.
details like that. Because otherwise, the movie would be over in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, it's right there.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Another thing that's like great about this movie is it's kind of like a musical a little bit, and all the music is like
one detail I noticed in this viewing that I really liked is he explains that song that he's humming at the beginning was something his mom used to sing him.
Yeah.
And he couldn't remember the lyrics, and that explains why the lyrics of the music
Are
is
just like
all
pop,
over the
pop,
place.
pop,
Yeah.
pop, yeah.
Pop, pop, and it's just like it's changing throughout the
Well,
scenes.
in the credits, you
right.
actually hear the real song,
I just think
and
that's
like
such a fucking awesome detail.
you hear the song in the credits, and like the words are nothing like anything they
Right.
sang at all.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, he's just like, "I'm fucking crazy."
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
And then it turns into like a beautiful version of it.
so
you know?
interesting.
I mean that part of the music that they use in the trailer where it's like the biggest song of the whole movie. I think it's called Montage, where they're like, yeah, the song's called Montage, and literally the lyrics are like montage. And
Really?
Yeah, like if you look at the lyrics, they're stupid as fuck. So dumb.
Tune in next week. Kyle will be shitting his pants.
If you're listening to the audio version, I spit everywhere.
He's gonna throw up on the microphone.
This movie's.
Kyle, there's a liquid coming out of Kyle 24/7.
There's some sort of.
His butthole
Matter.
is currently leaking ever so slightly.
I hate you guys so much. Every episode.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck you, alright? I don't have to apologize for the things that make me gross.
Hey,
I have Swiss Army.
We're
man.
all gross. We're all weird, right?
Exactly. We're all just.
You're just a
ugly.
little bit grosser.
Yeah.
You're just a little bit.
I haven't had a booger come out of my nose on a podcast.
That is honestly, like I was saying while we watched the movie, that is probably one of the most like profound meaning, like messages of any movie I've ever watched, and it's about a farting dead body, and
Yeah.
and it's rare for movies to kind of like have a message that kind of hits me, you know, because I feel like
Yeah.
you know, you watch so many movies, it's a lot of the same stuff, you know.
You
Believe in
are
yourself.
who you choose to
Yeah,
be.
Yeah.
But it's like it's such a simple message, but it's not a message you see anywhere.
No.
and that's why I think this movie's so important.
The message of like. Maybe we're all just like a little bit.
Sacks of shit.
Yeah, ugly and gross and disgusting and shitty.
I feel like totally like ironic and like meta because the end of the like I think I'm like, you know, the end of the movie's like too weird for me. Like it's too out there. It's a little too gross for me. And then I'm like,
the whole movie is
I know, but
about
then
being
but then
weird.
that's the whole thing is it's like it's okay to be like weird and like out there and gross. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't like it because it was a little too weird out there and gross.
Well,
And-
yeah, again, okay, if you're a fucking, if you're a church pastor, you won't like this movie. I'm not saying you are, but it's like, there's definitely a very specific
the
audience
Lord
for
said
it.
unto thee
Yeah, fart in
in my mouth.
my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing I noticed, it's kind of funny. I don't know if you'll agree, but it's just a thought that I had. Swiss Army Man, we talked about how it's funny but sad simultaneously.
yeah.
It's funny that you identify so much with that because I feel like Louis C.K. is like his stand-up is very similar in the sense where it's like sad and hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that with a lot of, I think that's definitely like a theme in like the shit that I like.
I'm just thinking of a Louis C.K. bit. I
okay.
wasn't making fun of you. I was thinking of a bit in my head.
Well,
Like
you,
tragic.
you can say it in a second.
Yeah, it must be really good for them. That's what I was thinking
the
of.
SNL. Oh god.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that in a lot of the shit that I like too, and even in the fucking short films that I've made, like about like
Yeah.
I definitely am a fan of like mixing genres and emotions, shit that can be really funny but kind of sad at the same time, or is like this weird mixture. Because I just feel like I get a lot more out of art in general when it's like it makes me feel more than one thing at a time, and even if they're like conflicting things, I love balancing comedy and tragedy, which is a big reason why I like movies like Thunder Road or like
Iron Giant.
sure
The Dirties, kind of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you'll definitely notice that in a lot of the things that I like, and it's definitely like the thing about a lot of my favorite movies, and I feel like this is a common thing for a lot of people, but for me, just from like being like having like a filmmaker's perspective, it tends to be a lot of the shit that I want to see in movies. So it tends to be shit that like I try to do in my stuff. I like shit that doesn't necessarily like you watch it and you're like, I can't really call that like a full-on comedy, but I can't call that like a full-on drama. And that's the shit I like because that's kind of life, It's like shit can be funny and sad all at the same time. Some of the darkest moments in my life, I've laughed the hardest, you know, and that's just kind of like, I don't know, that feels more authentic and honest to me in a lot of ways.
I mean, I know we're kind of going movie to movie here, but
Yeah.
this is kind of an interesting conversation.
We can make
I think,
connections
that I think
between
would
them,
be
too.
fun to have. I
Yeah.
mean, what do we think? Because I feel like you really just described your taste well and like
Yes.
movies you're into, but like,
Yeah.
what are we? Where do you stand on yours? Like, do we feel like we all understand each other's like taste?
Yeah. That's an interesting...
I was kind of thinking about like the kind of movies I wanted to make, and like so far it's kind of been the same thing where it had like every movie idea I've had has been like it's funny throughout and then it has a dark ambiguous ending. That's like everything.
But I think we all kind of do that too with a lot of our stuff. More so than more people, like some more than others. But you know, like I feel like we all kind of appreciate the like. I mean, I think I'm a big fan of like the dramedy, you know, where it's like.
I'm all over the place.
The thing about you is I feel like the movies that you want to make aren't necessarily the movies that you like to watch.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
But I also understand that.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. I would probably watch something. I mean, I don't want to like make this. I mean, you said something about that director. I mean, the next movie it's whatever. It's called Mensis. I was kind of thinking that Happy Death Day like reminded me of Mensis, and then you brought up Freaky, that new movie, kind of like how you envision Mensis, and so I think it is kind of one of those because I don't know, I for some reason I relate Mensis and Happy Death Day to each other, and like I do really enjoy Happy Death Day.
I mean, I see that in your guys' stuff, you know, with like. Now this isn't the movie you picked, but like I know when I watched. Cell Block 99 for the first time, which is another one of your favorite movies. Like, one of the first things out of my mouth was like, I can see why you like this because it feels like a movie that you would have made. Like, that probably wasn't a conscious thing.
Yeah.
But like, when you watch it, like, I can see it's like, oh shit, like, you even like choose similar camera angles that are like used in the movie and like the writing,
like the emotional payoff,
the
of
things it decides to focus on, and like like it's so just like your taste. And I find that interesting with like seeing the person's personality through the art that they decide to like revisit.
And again, I feel like Swiss Army Man, I can't think of a movie that just like represents you more. It's just like too perfect. I
agree.
It's like, yeah, it's too perfect. I don't know. I can't think. And then I mean, I feel like Iron Giant represents you. I feel like Back to the Future kind of represents you.
The one movie. There's only been one time where I was like, oh fuck, I feel like I made this movie, which sounds like really pretentious and like stupid, but whatever.
Doesn't have to be pretentious.
It was Super 8. I watched Super 8 and I was like, I feel like I fucking made this.
You know what's
movie.
funny? Well, last night I made a comparison to Super 8 and the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
But technically, both movies are kind of like a pseudo ripoff to like E.T. and other Spielberg movies.
Which is weird because I don't even like E.T. that much.
Yeah.
But I like Back to the Future, Super 8, The Iron Giant.
Back to the Future was my favorite movie of all time since I was like a little kid. But I still love Back to the Future, but Back to the Future is more so like represents what I like to see like in movies, just like from an entertainment perspective. And then Swiss Army Man is that, but it's like there's like a way more personal aspect to it. Like I feel this movie has my personality.
It does.
And then Back to the Future is more so just like the shit that I like to see on more of like I could tell you on like a list like I love the tongue-in-cheek humor in Back to the Future. I love the use of editing. I love the style of comedy. This type of the way the climax is like it's like the skin of their teeth kind of thing. Like it's more of like a popcorny thing.
Yeah.
But Swiss Army Man's more like it's just like this very like deep. You know, I like when I see the movie, I think about like me and like my sense of humor and how I like kind of like how it makes me think about like me and my mom in a weird way. But maybe that was because I saw it with my mom for the first time and she really liked it. Well, first of all, she didn't know what she was seeing until like a day before, and she was like, "What the fuck did you take me to?" But we were both laughing our asses off and having a good time.
Would you say that's like the most personal movie to you, Swiss Army Man?
Maybe. I don't want to make any grand statements.
Okay.
Personal movie.
Yeah,
But
I'm kind of curious though.
But
like,
it's
what's-
definitely like the most like if I could point to a movie that's like, as far as like my personality goes, like it's probably this movie, and just like how like I got like I have a very I don't know I just have a very weird sense of humor, and I always have, and I've always been kind of, and I feel I think I got a lot of that from my mom. We both kind of have like a warped sense of humor, and it just like it makes me think of like it reminds me of like where I like got that from in the first place.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say about this movie because this movie's not about like moms. Well, not really, but like it's sort of
MILFs.
Right.
no. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. That's kind of where the personal aspect of it comes from. I think a lot about like
Yeah.
I think a lot of this just stems from when I saw it, the time in my life that I
trust
saw
me,
it.
I can relate to
What
that.
what's your most personal movie?
Well, I just said I could relate to what he said. The first movie I thought of was Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it comes down to just what you just said. When I watched it in my life, it was just like the
I mean, they say that
perfect-
about there's a saying, I forget who said this, but about like music, about like
Yes.
a song is only as good as the memories associated
Yeah.
with it.
Like mine's weird.
I think it's really reigns really true.
Mine's really weird because it's like I really like this movie, but it's not like one of like my all-time favorites. It Chapter 2, which is because that was like one of the moments I was like happiest in my life, and like I saw it when I was really happy in life, and like probably like my peak. I hate to say like I have peaked, but like the peak of happiness in life, and like the whole message about like friendship at the end, and the fact that we're a group of friends that's like growing up together.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, once they reach a certain age, they kind of separate, and so that whole Chapter 2 is about like staying together once you guys have grown older.
I think this is a really interesting conversation about like, have you ever just like sat around and wondered like how much, when I think about my favorite movies, how much of it is actually the movie and more so just like the subconscious like memories and like
Yeah.
feelings associated with it? You ever think about that?
I do.
Sometimes I wonder about that because I do think it has
don't
like
know.
a much bigger.
I think
Not
one of the
always,
good ways
but-
to separate like that from other situations is when you think about that movie, are you picturing yourself where you were when you watched it? Because Jojo Rabbit, I'm back in the Majestic. I'm watching it by myself.
The Iron Giant, I don't think of that at all. I just
Yeah, because you saw it pretty late. But when I watched
Yeah.
The Iron Giant, I think about like me and my dad or something watching it when I was like a little kid on VHS or DVD or
like I could tell you where I first watched it, but it's not like I'm gonna put on The Iron Giant. Oh, I'm going back to that memory. Like if you ask me, I could tell you,
Right.
but I don't think about that memory when I put it on. I
mean-
mean, there was nothing significant going.
might not think
going
about
on
it.
in my life that I know of. When
You might
I
not
watched
think
it.
about it, but I think that there's probably a good case to make that there could be like a lot of subconscious shit. I think that's
I think so.
very common.
I think that plays a factor almost all in every case, but
Right.
like to it, like maybe you might
Not always. There are movies that I really, really like, and it's more so like shit that I could tell, like on paper, like the cinematography is good. I
Yeah.
like the way they do this. I like the way, but then there's shit like this that's like so personal. But on top of that, I like there's the craftsmanship's great, the cinematography's gorgeous.
It is really
It's some of the best. It's digital cinematography, and it's made to look very like grainy, and it almost the color palette's very like. It's gritty, but with just like a touch of like larger than life, like the way his suit looks. That suit in real life is blue, but it looks teal as fuck. This movie actually is pretty teal all the way through. It's like a teal as hell movie, but it looks great. I love like when people film in forests. I'm trying not to spit. They film in forests and locations that are similar to that, and they use like a teal color palette. I'm just like, I don't know, this is like,
It's beautiful. Mwah. Love it. It's great. The lace so gorgeous.
I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I could be talking about this movie forever, but I'm gonna just
Oh,
like
good.
wrap it up here. You guys have anything else to add that
No.
you liked or
I
just
really,
like,
really,
interesting
really like
thoughts?
Swiss Army Man. I need to buy Swiss Army Man and the Iron Giant. on
You need to
Blu-ray.
buy the Iron Giant and our next movie that we're gonna talk about, which is
Garfield the movie.
I thought it was A Tale of Two Kitties.
Yeah.
The second one.
Yeah.
You just stole the joke right out of my mouth. I was gonna say that actually. Tale of Two Kitties. It's funnier because it's more specific.
Yeah.
All right, before we jump into it, I think I need to just. I think I'm hanging up the towel.
Yeah.
On Clerks finally. Clerks has been my favorite movie for a couple years now, I think. And it's still, I think sometimes we probably put a little bit. I personally probably put a little bit too much emphasis on this specific movie is my favorite movie, but I can't really help it. And it I can't help but change that, every couple of years, because I was so convinced, Pulp Fiction is going to be my favorite movie forever when I was like 15, and it changed pretty fast. And yeah, I mean, I think Clerks was my favorite movie for a while because it's what I needed in that, that time. And I think that like I'm moving to a new point in my life where like I'm ready to embrace other movies as like top, like my favorite, like
So what is your
I'm
favorite
cherishing
now?
other movies more.
But before you get into that, I also just like want to add, and I said this before we recorded, but like each of us are like in our early 20s.
Don't worry, I'm 20 now.
Yeah, you are 20.
Yeah.
As of like, you actually turned 20 on the podcast
Yeah.
a couple episodes ago. And we didn't make a big deal out of it. You're just like, oh shit.
Hey, it's my birthday.
This is funny.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we're all in our early 20s. Our opinions are gonna change. So I
Right.
guarantee you 5 years from now, we might have completely different
I
favorite movies.
I'm kind of worried about
it's gonna
that.
happen.
That nothing will like
I think
pass
you
the
will.
Iron. I've had the Iron Giant as my favorite for 3 years.
But I mean, Pulp Fiction was my favorite movie for like 3 or 4 years.
Back to the
Okay.
Future was my favorite movie for a long time.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I'm still like, I don't know about. I know the Swiss
I
Army
mean,
Man's.
Mission Impossible Fallout came out recently, and it made its way up there fast.
I think it's just it's kind of just changes with the periods, like the period of your life, like
Yeah.
where are you at? What movie are you cherishing the most? And I mean, like you said, Swiss Army Man's like kind of the one you've been cherishing, the most.
I think about the way that I figure out what my favorite movies are either do I think about it a lot, or do I find myself wanting to rewatch it a lot?
Yeah.
And that tends to be like that's probably like one of my
Right.
favorite movies. And I think since I've seen Swiss Army Man, I think about it a lot.
Right.
Especially, it feels like the perfect movie for like this time in my life, my early 20s, kind of like learning to, when you're like kind of like as a young adult, you're still sort of figuring out who you are, but sort of like it's like part of like accepting who you are in a little bit. And this movie actually, I know we're still talking about Swiss Army Man.
It's okay.
But it's also like, I also think the movie kind of has like a very like young person quality to it, like with its messages and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
It
imagine,
feels like a millennial wrote it.
imagining you at like 65 or 70, just like watching Swiss Army Man, like.
See, it's gonna change so much.
Yeah.
Are you ever worried that the next time you put on your favorite movie,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna be like, I don't know. So that's why I'm like every time I've watched the Iron Giant, I've been really happy. I've been like, okay, we're still good. It's still awesome.
Yeah, I know it's an existential fear.
So you called me out on it because you were like, I think Borat's your favorite movie because I've seen it 9 times, 10 times in the last year or so.
Yeah.
And Kyle was like, oh, I think it's your favorite movie. And I was like, no, I mean, I just like showing it to a lot of people, but I'm just like scared to put the Iron Giant or like Back to the
Yeah.
Future on.
Yeah, see, you seem to have a different, like...
But I still think about it a lot.
Yeah, Borat?
No, I still think about like the Iron Giant and Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid of that feeling of the next time I watch it, I'm gonna be
Right.
like, oh no. But it's never like that.
That's the thing that I think you have a different philosophy that we've noticed. That's different between me and Gage. It's like we want to watch our favorite movies more often, I would assume.
I'm just afraid of it getting old.
Yeah, but you're way more concerned about like if there's a movie you really really like, you want to watch it as least as possible because you want
Not as
you want to preserve like the freshness.
Yeah,
of it.
not like as the least amount as possible, but just not like overdo it and be like,
Right.
I haven't seen it in 2 weeks. Fuck, I gotta put it on.
Yeah. The funny thing is you do that with Borat.
Well, that's because whenever there's a new person I meet, I'm like,
Yeah.
so
The funny thing
you've
is
seen Borat?
Swiss Army Man is that movie for me because it's like more than likely most people haven't heard of it.
I still do that with the Iron Giant though,
Yeah.
but a lot of people have seen it. So that's another thing. Is I'm like,
Right.
have you seen the Iron Giant? And now that it was on Netflix, they're like, yeah,
It's never gets old showing people Swiss Army Man because it's just like
yeah.
just watch people go, what the fuck is this?
Anyway,
Showing people Clerks is just like
Depressing.
yeah, I felt bad.
I had a really good time.
it's good.
I can't speak for Micah, but I had a really good time.
Yeah,
Now you'll know how I feel when I showed him Hot Fuzz
It-
recently. But anyway,
It was a movie.
you can't deny that.
I can't deny
it was,
that.
in fact, a
it
movie.
was a film.
I still really like Clerks, but you can
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when like your favorite movie changes because I think you focus more on, oh, I don't like this movie that much, than like, oh, I think I like this movie a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you
So
had the
like I'm more
opposite.
focusing. I'm like, oh man, I don't like Clerks anymore, which isn't the case. I still love.
You still
Clerks.
love it, but it just like
Instead of focusing, oh, I think I love this movie a little bit more. You know, I'm
which is it?
being
Which movie?
pessimistic.
Well, I think it was that also plays into why it was hard for us to kind of like, well, at least for me. I feel bad because I feel like this is a conversation we should be having like at the end.
Go ahead.
But you haven't even talked about Clerks yet. But like anyway, of like you know, once somebody asks me like, all right, what's your favorite movie of all time? I immediately forget every movie I've ever seen because the fucking pressure to be like, it's this one. Fucking like it makes me go like I don't know like I suddenly
Yeah.
have no confidence.
I don't think I don't
any of these
have that.
movies.
I don't feel that same pressure, but I think I need to be more comfortable with just accepting that new phases in my life are going to bring upon new favorite movies.
That was-
Yeah.
And I don't need to be so
Yeah.
like tied down to one. And I think because I feel so tied down to one, like it's once I grow to accept that that's not my favorite movie anymore, it hurts more.
I think
Yeah,
there's
I
also
understand that.
I think there's also this weird like stigma that's almost like exclusive to like I think it is. It seems like it's What the fuck was that? A pebble?
Continue.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting because this mic is like omnidirectional, so people will be like when they listen to it with
Yeah.
headphones. But
There
anyway,
was just a popcorn seed, and I knew I was gonna forget it later, so I just threw it over there to clean up.
I think there's this weird stigma in like the film cinephile movie buff kind of like community that a lot of people either they put it on you or you kind of put it on yourself where it's like as soon as you're not sure like what your favorite fucking movies are, like even for a second you feel like you're just like, oh shit, does my taste just
I'm
suck?
not
do
gonna
I
lie.
do I even know what I like anymore? Am I fucking, you know?
I've lied when people have said, "What's your favorite movie?" because I was afraid they'd judge me. Because I didn't.
Yeah.
Because if I said the Iron Giant, they'd be like, "Fucking child over here." So I'm like, "Back to the Future." I like movies.
See, I'm always afraid to say Back to the Future
Yeah.
because I don't want to seem too obvious.
Fun fact,
You know,
that was
it's mostly just you. It's mostly just
me and Gage's very
judgment.
very first conversation ever was him going, "So,
Yeah.
what's your favorite movie? You can tell a lot about a person by their favorite movie." And I was like, "I don't know, Back to the Future."
and then we never were friends.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the end of the story.
That's the thing. Yeah,
Fuck you.
I think that stigma does exist, but it's
Yeah.
not. You definitely put it on yourself
don't
as
like-
much as other people
I
put it
don't
on
love
you.
the I am Legend. The I am
Because
Legend.
you feel like you're so fucking defined by your favorite piece of art, especially when that shit's so important
Because you
to you.
are. Like in a way, you are like it does represent you.
Right.
you know?
I texted-
and if you feel like your favorite movie is like something that everyone's like, oh, everybody says that, you just
No.
feel like a fucking.
I texted a girl once
Idiot.
and I was like, "Hey, what's your favorite movie?" And she was like, "Twilight and like The Dirt and
Yeah.
some like other retarded movie." And I never like responded to her ever again.
She was clearly retarded.
Obviously.
Here's the thing. I said it. Here's the thing.
Oh, Twilight. Fuck.
I'm going like, oh, Micah, but at the same time, I'm like, probably would have like done something similar.
yeah. See, you feel. I mean, I don't feel great about it, but I don't want to like be with someone who's like, Twilight, fucking.
I mean, if you like Twilight,
Captain
fucking whatever.
Marvel, Wonder Woman.
But
don't
I
fucking know
think
what
I
I'm
think the
saying.
moral of the story here is we're all fucking
Still figuring-
snobs.
Yeah.
Oh, also still, no, totally, no. But my opinion is superior.
Yeah, we're snobs and we're figuring ourselves out
Yeah.
still.
Clerks.
So we're snobs who are have nothing else to say.
But even if Clerks isn't your all-time fucking like definitive,
to be honest,
what do you like about it?
I was prepared this viewing to I think I was kind of starting to accept it before watching it. I also think that this Clerks is not a group movie. I think I've come to the conclusion that it is a better movie to watch by yourself.
You know what? I think I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather kill myself either way.
And it's not because you were taking a nap on my shoulder during the.
I was
viewing.
not. I paid attention the whole fucking time.
It's because I just think
I laughed here and there.
I don't know. It's one of those movies that it's still like a very inspiring movie for me, like on a filmmaking standpoint. And I think it's one of those you kind of just have to like really feel it, and there's something about watching a movie by yourself that's inspirational like that.
Yeah.
That is just you can't. It's unparalleled.
Well, especially if you're like us and you want to make your own movies.
Yeah.
Watching a movie that's like clearly somebody's like.
Passion project.
Well, that they, it's their first movie and
Yeah.
they made it with no money. I mean, this movie's fucking. It came out in 1994. It looks more like it came out in 1968.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because it was shot in black
Yeah.
and white on like 16 millimeter film.
And it's funny because the last viewing of Clerks was like my favorite viewing of it ever, and I watched it by myself, and it was like, and it was still in that point, because I've been writing my script and stuff, and it's a big inspiration for my script, and I'm not done writing my script, but I feel like it was that last boost that I needed, just it really represents this like figuring out who I am as a filmmaker and as an independent filmmaker and kind of growing into yourself creatively and all these things and working with what you have and finding inspiration within your own life.
I wonder if you're more
I'm what I'm getting at is I'm starting to move on from that.
But I would add I think maybe you're also kind of discovering that you're I was just noticing your phone. Discovering that maybe do you think maybe you're more inspired by the story around the movie than the actual movie itself sometimes?
I don't know, to be honest, if that's necessarily the case.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like that's what I'm saying. I think it's more like it's less like the making of the movie, more like
Because I know with me, like I like this movie, and it's fun to revisit, but also like I like I find myself watching the behind the scenes documentary about how it was made more often than I actually want to sit down and watch the movie. But that's just me.
I've only ever seen that once. I've seen the movie many times, and I think it's just kind of how the movie makes me feel. It has this like grungy garage band feel to it.
Yeah, it feels very punk rock.
Very punk rock and just very very like indie filmmaking. Like it kind of to me like it represents that. It represents that period in my life where we're making movies with no money and all this stuff. And
So if it was the exact same story with the exact same cast, exact same dialogue, but it was made with like really really awesome cameras and really good lighting and was in color and like looked like a fucking blockbuster movie, but everything else was the same, do you think you would like this movie?
No.
I also think that's kind of a loaded question because I feel like a lot of people like this movie, but I feel like that's part of the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
That's part of like the fucking.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
It's like part of the reason why I love it is because it looks like dog shit. So it looks and
if it doesn't look like dog shit, I don't want it.
We were talking about the black and white kind of. It feels so calm.
Yeah.
It's so immersive and just like I just feel like
There's
I'm
something
in this.
weirdly cozy about
We
it.
watched the music video that they shot that was shot very similarly, but it was just in color, like same location, same characters.
I think it was
everything.
directed by
Kevin Smith. It looked like shit in color. Like it looked. It still looked like it. It was a good feeling. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it still was kind of cool to watch Clerks with that black and white aesthetic, super grainy. You put it in color, it looks like fucking shit. Like, it looks god-awful.
I think it's funny you're saying that, because you said it looked better than the...
I know.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, you're like, I almost kind of prefer it in color. It looks like more nostalgic and, like...
Okay, but I was going from, like, a home video perspective. Obviously, I made fucking Seventh, which is like, whoa, look at this nostalgic 90s, 80s looking fucking nostalgia. I just like that it looked like a home video. I think as a movie, like,
I don't know.
black and white
I
better.
also think, to give yourself credit, when I do watch Clerks, like, other than the whole, like, story around the movie, how it was made and everything, I still like I see your personality in it. I see like the way, I mean, the fact that it's a talking head movie.
Yeah.
So the dialogue is like front and center, the thing you should
Yeah,
be
that's
paying
us.
attention to. What?
The dialogue. That's us.
Oh.
Oh.
But
yeah, no, it's definitely the
like the way the way the dialogue's written, I can
Yeah.
see the inspiration. I can see the way that the characters talk, the fact that the characters are like they're all just they're just like normal everyday blue collar guys working at a convenience store, and they talk like they're fucking like they're like professors in a university. Like the way they articulate
Yeah.
themselves is like on like another high place. It's like, what the fuck are you doing working here? You should be teaching like fucking philosophy. And that's the way you write your characters too.
yeah.
And that's like a very common theme in like a lot of the movies you like. They're very dialogue heavy. All the characters, like, I mean, I don't think this is one of your favorite movies, but like the first thing I thought of is like fucking like Raising Arizona, where like all the characters are like just these like simple town folk, like southern town folk people, but they all have like this articulation that's like way beyond like their who they like are.
It has this this like poetic flow, and it's I know all you're hearing is just like jizz, dicks, balls, vaginas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about Clerks, not
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a vulgar
like they're
movie.
using all these like big words, but then they're just like talking about blowjobs.
But there's that whole scene where they're talking about like does title dictate like
And then they just showed a magazine of a vagina, and I was like, oh.
Just to clarify, that's not why I love this movie.
I know, but I was just...
what is that scene though? Like remind me.
What?
Does title dictate something? I forget what the fuck is it
like
called.
the part where he like spits water on that guy,
Yeah, the whole conversation they have
where he says
after
like,
that.
does title dictate behavior? That
Yeah, or
that
something
whole-
like that.
And then he's like, if I was supposed to, I don't know. It's not one of the more memorable.
But
scenes
it
for
makes
but
me
I
think
know
of the
what you're
shit
talking
that like you would write in your
Yeah,
movies and
I get
shit.
you.
It makes sense why you like this.
I
as
mean,
much
yeah,
as you
like
do.
the movie I'm working on now is like clearly inspired by it quite a bit.
It's entire. I mean, all the shit you do is very dialogue heavy.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's.
I think and it's
and it's
definitely
also sorry.
it's a movie that embraces that. I like how I'm telling you why you like this
No, I
movie.
mean, to be honest, I'm not very good at explaining why I like stuff. I'm much better at like explaining why I dislike something. But when it comes down to, oh, this is why I love this movie, I'm almost like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's tough.
But the funny thing is, I could tell you why.
I mean, you're the one who told me what the meaning of my own short film was, so.
That is a fact.
That is a fact.
He has notes in his phone to remind him what I said about his own short film, so he remembers what his own short film means.
That is the
It's amazing.
That's the funniest thing ever.
It's true.
It's so funny. It's so sad, but so true. I'm like, what is Waffles about again? Oh, I better pull up my screenshots of Kyle's messages of him explaining. Oh.
Like somehow I have a clear idea
Yeah.
of what you were trying to say better
Because I'm
than
not
you
good
do.
at like,
But that's why we make movies.
Literally,
because
Nolan
it's-
said it best in Tenet. Don't try to understand it, just feel it.
Like I think maybe that might be part of why we make movies, because like that's in some cases we might be better at expressing how we feel about certain
Yeah.
things through our art than actually saying it.
think about like an abstract painter. They just like, and then people go, "What is it?" And it's
Yeah.
just like art.
it's yeah, it's tough to articulate. I mean, I will say like it sounds cliche saying you feel like you're in the world, but I mean, I do feel like I'm in this convenience store, and I think a part of it's because of the black and white. I feel like it's kind of like an intoxicating environment and atmosphere in the movie. You feel like you're a part of it. You feel like you're one of the characters, and it's just super. It's so unique seeing a glimpse of like the everyday life of just like a convenience store worker. It's something that I've never seen anywhere else.
For me, like the biggest thing that makes me want to like come back to this movie is the characters,
Right.
Specifically Dante and Randall. It's I don't know. There's some. There's like even though it's vulgar and like there's dick jokes and it's very like lowbrow a lot of times. There's like this heart to it.
Yeah.
And there's also this grittiness to it, which I think that's the aspect of later Kevin Smith movies, like what they're missing. that a lot of people maybe can't put their finger on. I think because I think his earlier work, even though they were like in a lot of ways like stupid, silly stoner comedies, they were still like they had this like gritty, down to earth part of it that like anchored it down. And Clerks is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it feels very true and like it has something it wants to say.
It's not Jay and Silent Bob where it's just like a fucking cartoon.
Yeah, it feels.
Yeah.
It feels very. This might sound like a stretch, but it's kind of like it feels kind of anti PC and just very honest.
Well, it's definitely very anti-establishment, which I mean, in 1994, it makes sense why it was such a big hit because like it was very like
it's of its
fuck
time.
the man.
It's of its time, you know.
It's grunge music.
It's really not concerned with trying to fit into a box.
Right.
It's doing its own thing. I mean, that's what Kevin Smith did towards that beginning, and you just like your grandma would pass out watching 5 seconds of that movie. Right. It's just so much.
But when you're like a young person, it's like such a like you want to watch something like that because it's
liberating.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean you say it in a very like.
I mean, yeah, it
like
is.
It's true.
Yeah, it feels like a breath of fresh air. Like you can just sigh and just like watch something that's not concerned with being judged.
It's the significance of this movie. Like it's fucking. It is like a mid '90s like staple. Like a lot of people like. I mean, it's a cult classic for a reason because it's such
a hangout movie
of its
too.
time. Yeah.
And I normally don't like hangout movies like that, but it's like
Right.
very very much a hangout movie. And I also just like love. I mean, I guess. I will acknowledge this, that as far as the making of the movie comes into the equation, like the movie takes place during the day, but they filmed at nighttime, and it's funny because when I'm watching the indoor scenes, I'm like, it feels like it's nighttime, because I know it is, and I like it more because of that, even though in the movie it's daytime. So it's like this weird thing of knowing that they did film all night.
I didn't even know it was nighttime until one of you guys said something.
The funny thing is, like, there was a couple times where I said something where it was similar, where it was like, oh, I love how you can tell that, like several times where, like, the actors are, like, trying to, like, rush through the dialogue as fast as possible because they're afraid the fucking film mag is going to run out.
Yeah.
But that's like, in any other movie, I would consider that a mistake, but there's like a weird charm to it that I can tell that it was like slapped together.
They stutter, and like, I mean, like I said, I'm not like the biggest fan of this movie ever, but I do...
Ever.
Ever.
Funny.
But I do really enjoy like these slight little like mishaps. I mean, because... those are like real everyday things that happen. Like somebody will stutter while they talk, and they keep it in the movie, and it just makes it feel so much more genuine and authentic. Yeah. So I do enjoy that aspect of it.
Even though I do like this movie, I still, and we talked about this already, but I do also another hot take. I think Clerks 2 is a better movie, but we can talk about that another time. I think it might actually be Kevin Smith's best movie. I think Michael would
really like it. Actually. Clerks
really?
2, to be honest, yeah.
Maybe.
Not really like it, but like
it more.
I think you'd like it more. I think the characters are more well realized. I think
Is Randall in it? Randall is like my favorite of this one.
No, Randall is like the best character of this movie. I think specifically him and Dante's dynamic is like what makes this fucking movie. And I feel like it's just like, I don't know. I said this while we watched it too. I think it's funny that you're supposed to be talking like highly of this, but anyway. I knew kids in high school that remind me a lot of Randall, of just like, they're just kind of, they don't give a shit what anybody thinks about them. They're going to just say whatever the fuck they want. But if you're friends with them, you best believe they're just like loyal as hell. And I could probably name a couple people that we went to high school with that I feel that way, that remind me a fuck ton of Randall.
I also think that like something that I overlook now because it's become such a cliche meaning to a movie, but the whole like, if you're gonna complain about your life situation, do something about it. Another very simple message, and it's something that's been so overdone. But Clerks was like, when I watched Clerks, that was like a oh fuck type thing, because I feel like at the time of first watching it, I was in that situation where I was always like bitching and just kind of, oh man, I wish this, I wish that. It's just like, why are you
if you're sitting there saying that you're so much better than the situation that you're in, why the fuck are you changing?
One of my favorite lines ever is just I don't want to disrupt shit I don't want to disrupt things to shit comfortably, and I
Yeah.
think that's just like something I really connected with, and I don't know, that whole thing is great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's still definitely up there for me, and I'm glad that we got to talk about it and watch it. You know?
Yeah. I always loved watching that movie.
Yeah, I
actually.
mean, I'll always love Clerks, and it'll always be like one of the handful of movies that like made me fall in love with movies and made me not even fall in love with movies, made me want to make movies.
I do really like Clerks too, though, and
I really like Clerks too.
I might like it more than this one. I think I still, again, I haven't seen Dogma and a couple others, but I still think Clerks 2 might be Kevin Smith's best movie. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way.
I think it's
but
like
yeah,
one of his best ones. I think it's like Clerks 2, Tusk for me are like the.
oh really, Tusk? Okay, I actually still need to see that.
I
I
mean,
want to watch Tusk.
to be honest, other than those three, I don't really like any of his other
Jersey
movies.
Girl.
It's funny, like I've only ever seen like, oh, I either really like Kevin Smith movie or I'm just like,
What other Kevin Smith movies have you seen?
Clerks.
Is that it? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what you think of his other movies.
What else has he made?
He made Clerks 2. He did Mallrats.
I do want to see
He did Chasing Amy.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back
Okay. I like
and Chasing Amy.
I actually kind of like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back in just like a dumb fun way. Not the reboot. Reboot is not good. But like the first one they did,
I think you
it
should
knows
watch,
what it is way more.
you should watch Mallrats because I feel like Mallrats is like a modernized version of Clerks, and it's like I don't like Mallrats very much
Who's it by?
I feel
Kevin Smith, same.
Oh.
because I feel like it's just kind of like a copy and pasted version of Clerks, but it's like
But it
in
takes place in
color,
a
it's
mall.
modernized, it's in a mall. Yeah, it's
Stan Lee's in it.
like
for like a second.
Jason Lee in that movie is just Randall. It's so weird.
Oh yeah, also Jay and Silent Bob are in that movie too, and like
I know there's like a weird universe.
yeah,
there.
the View Askew universe. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith isn't like one of my all-time favorite directors.
We hit 2 hours.
But congratulations. Kevin Smith isn't like one of my favorite like directors of all time, but he's like I enjoy his movies. His movies are fun to visit. I almost kind of like him as a personality more than I like his movies. But
I like what he represents
Yeah.
as far as like indie filmmaking goes.
yeah,
like
definitely.
he's in that like Linklater category where it's like, oh man,
right.
it really makes me want to make movies.
Since we did favorite movies, I just want to ask really quick. Favorite director?
Of all time.
Yes.
Don't make me do that.
I mean, okay. Fine.
You guys answer.
If I
beside
don't
me.
want to, I don't want to stress you guys out.
I mean, I
but
could give you a list, but if
I think my favorite's David Fincher.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to give more than one answer?
Give some.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, you go first. You don't want it. Whatever. You don't have to answer. It's the hardest thing.
Favorite directors. I'm just gonna be very cliche and say Tarantino and Linklater.
No, not Nolan.
Okay.
Nolan would be up there.
Other than Edgar Wright, because I'm just gonna get that one out of the way.
What?
Fucking. I mean, Edgar Wright's part of it, but I'm just like, I'm like,
Edgar Wright's a part of it.
oh, shut up. Shut up.
shocking.
Shut up. Coen Brothers, which I still need to see. Specifically, Coen Brothers' approach to comedy, I really like. I think people don't talk about it enough as much as their like other movies.
I've literally every Coen Brothers movie I've watched, I've turned off halfway through.
Well, you're you, but anyway, David Fincher is a part of
This
that.
fucking
John Hughes, Sam Raimi, every other visual director under the book.
under the bug.
Under the book. What the
Oh.
fuck? What was I saying? I don't know. I'm tired.
Visual directors.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle, yeah.
I really like Danny Boyle.
I wish J.J. Abrams would do more shit outside of Star Wars because like Super 8 and Mission Impossible 3 are like I think really fucking good.
See, I used to think that, but I honestly think that like Super 8 is like the closest thing he has to like a fully original movie, and even then it's like a ripoff of E.T.
All right, you've been asking. I'm just gonna say, I think for
Oh,
right now,
yeah.
Inglourious Bastards is my favorite movie. At this point in
Finally.
my life, right now, it's the movie I can't stop thinking about. My heart does a little jiggle when I think about the movie.
Ooh.
My boob jiggles when I think
Yeah.
about. But
Okay.
I don't know. You know, I'm getting to this age where like there's so many movies that I love. Like
Yeah.
about a year ago, I was like, I just saw like top 25. There's so many movies that I love now.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah,
I'm like, I feel like my tastes are drastically changing, and the movies.
Oh, Wes Anderson's one of my favorite directors, which is weird because it's doesn't seem like
He
it would
does
be
a
my thing.
bit of animation too and stuff.
Yeah.
I would add Jared Hess to my list too.
Okay.
Nacho Libre.
Yep.
And Napoleon Dynamite.
Don Verdeen.
Well,
I'm also like
not that,
really watching like really getting into like Korean movies too.
Yeah.
So I'm discovering like a whole new world of movies all of a sudden, and it's super.
All in all, if you guys take anything away from this episode, it's okay to like shit that people go,
Oh, really? You like that? That's such an obvious choice.
I have a fucking Suicide Squad poster up right there.
unless you're Micah. Just kidding.
Last time I watched Suicide Squad, I determined that I don't actually think it's a good movie. So, progress.
I find it interesting that you went from like such a like, it's one of my favorite movies to like.
I never said it was one of my favorite movies.
Really?
It's not. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I knew it was stupid, but I just had fun with it.
See,
It was never one of like my favorites. I just didn't like how much people shit on it. But my last rewatch, I was like, oh.
I kind of like. I'm curious because I know Caleb said this too, but I'm also kind of curious if there ever is a moment where we do get like a David Ayer cut of that movie. I wonder if you would end up liking it more than if you end up liking the theatrical cut more than the
I don't know,
David
man.
Ayer cut. I'm gonna like.
I
strangle
mean,
you.
people still give me shit for loving The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but it is what it is.
Well,
We're all hypocrites. It's okay.
let's try to. My camera dies at 2:30.
We love each
so
other.
We're at 2:06.
We love each other. Don't
We do love each other.
Are you sure?
Everybody feel comfortable with that discussion? I feel good about it.
Yeah,
I do.
It's a very personal, nice.
It was a
little
personal,
episode.
I feel like I learned a little bit about myself. I
Yeah.
feel like this is a little bit like therapy. Even though I was very tired, this is good.
Yeah.
This is a good little somber one.
Yep.
I just want to clarify that I love all three of these movies, so this is fun.
I do too,
okay.
actually.
Yeah.
I like the Iron Giant. Swiss Army Man is like pretty decent.
Me and Gage love all three of these movies.
Yeah.
Micah was bored to tears.
I was not.
I'm just kidding.
I'm the cynic of the group. I apologize.
At least you know now what it's like to show like a favorite movie to all you guys, and you're all like,
Well,
and then you leave home depressed, and you're like, was that even a good movie?
I've still have had that happen with me, where I showed my family the Iron Giant, and they were like, okay.
It's the worst.
It was cute.
It's
I guess.
the worst feeling when it's something that you love so dearly.
And it pissed me off because I was showing them, and my mom was on her phone the whole time.
It's
and I
even
was
worse
like,
with music because
pay
music
attention.
just feels so much more personal.
Yeah, I never.
Whenever I show Gage a song that he likes, I'm like, oh, it's happening.
Okay, who's ready for a couple viewer questions?
We didn't get to answer any last time because
Yes, I
everything was
apologize.
dying, so we had to wrap it up.
Kyle
real quickly.
died.
We missed an
I died.
episode, so we're very behind on the questions. We have a whopping 2 questions.
Oh my god!
And one of them isn't even a question.
Wow.
It's just Jesse fucking with
Yeah,
us.
yes, yeah. It's
Did you
just,
see that spit just
no,
go
I
over your
didn't.
leg?
No, I didn't. Thank God it missed me.
It's
All
like
right.
an Olympic sport.
Old Man Logan, thank you very much for commenting. Asks us a
okay.
question.
All right.
What are your guys' thoughts on miniseries formats?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let Micah go first because I think this one will be the most interesting. This is
Okay.
probably what he's getting at. Because you notoriously have said that you don't like to watch TV shows.
I don't like to watch TV shows or miniseries. I think it's really stupid with stuff like Justice League or
You're in the you're in the shadows.
stuff like Justice League, which they are gonna do into a miniseries. I mean, yeah, it's 4 hours, but I guarantee you, the cut was not initially. Hold on.
Okay.
The cut was not initially 4 hours, and they're like, you know what? Let's do a miniseries. Just keep everything in there. And you're like, okay. And same with like the Hateful Eight. It's like it's a movie.
Okay,
You're just splitting it up.
Do
It's a
do
movie.
you know what? That's not what a miniseries is.
That is the term.
I know, but-
that is the words they use.
Those are specific.
Those are very
circumstances.
specific.
okay, but for
examples.
Justice
Where a
League, they
movie was
said
meant-
We're not
We're-
talking about
they're
movies going
splitting it
miniseries.
into a mini.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if it can be a movie, just make it a fucking movie.
Well, okay, but you're talking about very two specific
Right.
incidences.
Okay,
we're
let's-
talking about miniseries in general, like that Steven Spielberg one, the
Stephen King. Not
Sorry,
Spielberg.
the
Yeah.
time travel one or whatever.
Yeah, there's the Hulu
Oh.
miniseries with James Franco.
I'm trying to think of more examples of fucking miniseries. Band of Brothers is a really
The
good
Wires, I think, is a famous
one. The Wire.
miniseries.
The Wire.
The Wire. I said The Wire.
Oh, I thought you said The Wires.
Either
Wires.
make a movie or make a TV show. Decide.
I don't think that's
I
fair.
don't know. I personally I like miniseries because they kind of
I really like
they fit this very specific mold where shit that's like it's like if you made it into a movie you would have had to make it so it wouldn't be long enough to like fully explore a certain topic or story like in a fully realized way, but it's also like you couldn't do 9 seasons of it.
Yes, it's like
It works better in like maybe like a 10 to 20 episode and then that's it.
it's not a commitment,
thing.
but you get way more
Right.
story than your average movie. So you're not committing to 5 seasons of a show, but you're
Right.
still getting way more story. And I honestly really love that format.
You could just do movie sequels.
What?
You could just do movie sequels instead.
But I mean, like, you look at Band of Brothers and you watch that show, like, it cannot be.
Well, I mean, you watch that show. Micah,
I know.
Micah doesn't watch.
I don't
that
watch
show.
TV.
No, I know, but like what I mean is like that doesn't work really as a movie or a show. It's very
Yeah,
specific to
exactly.
that miniseries format where like it's following these characters, but only for a certain amount of time. And if you keep it going for 5 seasons, you're just gonna get super bored because it's like
Right.
it just doesn't work.
What-
And you can't do a 2.5 hour movie about it.
I find it interesting that a lot of TV shows that people consider some of the best of all time actually didn't run that long. Like Breaking Bad, which is like considered like by a lot of people like top tier, one of the best TV shows ever made. It only ran for 5 seasons.
yeah.
You know, I feel like that's the perfect amount to just
I
like,
agree.
all right, any more than that, and we're just trying to like cash in and make money. You know,
Yeah.
we have shows like Big Bang Theory that are on for like
Too much.
yeah,
20 years or something.
yeah, The
Jeez.
Simpsons or whatever. It's
Yeah,
the famous
that's
example.
way too much.
Sesame Street has like over 50 seasons now.
Well, I mean, okay.
I mean, that's totally different, but it just blows my
Comparing
mind.
Breaking
I know,
Bad to
I'm-
Sesame
I'm
Street.
just saying the fact that a show, regardless of what it is,
Right.
has been around. Like Doctor Who. Doctor Who has like spanned generations, and they bring
Right.
bring along a
But
new
each
guy.
new season is almost like a new show.
Like True
And
Detective. True Detective is an example.
Yeah,
of
that's almost like an
miniseries.
anthology series where like every season's like a completely new story.
You could call
from
True
the beginning
Detective a
to the end.
miniseries because, like, yeah, it's just one season of like a story.
Yeah.
Technically.
Well, so when the script for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows was written, the script was like 450 pages, and they were like, "Well, shit, we can't make a movie out of this. It's too long. Guess we have to make a miniseries." False. They just split it in two and made a sequel.
Not a good analogy at all because it was based on a pre-existing film series. So why would you make a miniseries to begin like at all?
Also, it was based off a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the script was really long, so they just made a sequel to.
Micah,
Do it all.
Just admit that like the reason you don't like miniseries or TV shows is because you can't sit that long. It's okay.
You of all people to say that.
Hey,
I
you've
mean,
seen
I'm not-
Breaking Bad.
I mean,
It's a
yeah.
5-season show, pal. What
I
have
don't
you
know.
done?
I just don't like. Just the time
Just call him
commitment.
Kyle.
No, he just said time commitment. Isn't that what?
I mean, I can sit down, but I don't want to spend
You
like.
just don't want to sit down for a long time.
Although, okay,
I don't hold on.
in all
I don't
fairness-
want to spend like 4 months of my life trying. That's what people do. They're like, oh yeah, I binged this entire TV series in 1 week, or this whole TV series, like all 6 seasons in 1 week. I'm like, that doesn't sound healthy at all. But I also don't want to spend 6 months of my life spreading it out and being like, oh my gosh, I finally finished. I wasted half a year of my life when I could have been doing other things during that entire fucking thing.
To give in all fairness, you did explain like a fairly good like the way it's very like the way that your brain works is like if you watch like a series of movies like you have to finish like if you watch like Alien 1 you have to watch Alien 2, Alien 3, even the shitty ones of the series.
Yeah, that's
and
why
if
I'm
you were to watch
watching-
a show where it gets shitty at like the end, you would
Yeah.
have to complete it.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a decent reason to like, you know, but like
So not a time commitment in the fact that I can't sit down for like 3 hours, but a time commitment in the fact that it would take like several months to finish something, and I
Depends how you watch it.
don't want to binge it either. I don't want to just sit down for hours on end and just be like.
I mean, there's a middle ground. You don't have to like watch it for a year or like watch it in like.
Isn't
a day.
each Breaking Bad episode like 1 hour?
Like 40 minutes?
No, yeah, 40, 50 minutes sometimes.
Okay, 40, 50 minutes, and
I mean, I'm not saying you can watch Breaking Bad in like
But I
couple
could-
days.
I
But
could
I mean,
watch-
like you don't have to watch it in like 8 months.
I could
either.
watch like 4 episodes per day, or I could just watch 2 movies.
But I mean,
And I get
like,
4.
what do you're comparing nothing with nothing. Like
Well,
you can't just compare Breaking,
Breaking
Bad,
Bad,
to like any other
Breaking
movies.
Bad is one story that's continuous.
Yeah,
One
but
story.
we're not
I
bringing
could
the
get
quality at all. We're like that's the thing. You're just talking about like the format. You're comparing formats. You're not comparing quality. Like,
No.
But okay.
I want a good like constant flow of incoming stories that I can take in and process consistently, and just like take in new stories to. I don't know, but like just one story over a long period of time. I want new stuff.
constantly
So I
changing
guess the
story.
question is, if somebody was like, "All right, Micah, there's this really fucking good miniseries that I think you would like. It's only like 8 to 10 episodes, and it's done."
Exactly.
I want to watch that JFK one just because it has
Yeah.
an interesting enough premise.
Well, it sounds like you haven't watched a whole lot of miniseries, to be honest.
Which is why I think actually.
I mean, I don't know.
I
Have you?
think I've watched a couple. I mean, I sound like I'm speaking out of my ass, but I genuinely can't remember what they were. But I know I have seen a couple,
Yeah.
and I was just like, okay.
Okay. But do you think if there was a miniseries that was like just like a short?
That JFK one sounds really fucking interesting.
I have it on Blu-ray.
I want to watch
really
it. I want to watch that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think it's interesting. Okay, I guess just to answer your question, like I think me and Gage really like miniseries. Micah isn't super into them, but that's just because he just isn't super into TV in general.
Yeah.
But it's also like I would like to talk about TV in the future on this podcast. I do think it's like, because I think TV is a part of film. I mean, we would specifically still talk about movies.
I
but
think
like,
it's just the stigma I see around all the TV shows I see coming out right now. Like, I see The Flash and the clips I see look really shitty, and I see Stranger Things, and like everything just seems to be like recycled, and just 13 Reasons Why. You have a successful season, so then you gotta pump out 3 other ones, even though the first season was based off of a book, and then the next 3 seasons are fucking dog shit. I'm just seeing like. I just see shit. All these like popular shows that everybody's like, it's so good, you're gonna love it. I just see shit.
But the way that your mind works is like, even if like the first season's really good and everyone says the other seasons are shitty,
Yeah.
like you can't even start
I
the
gotta
series because you have to see.
Yeah,
it
I
through.
gotta see the whole like story. I can't just be like, all right.
Which I find that interesting though, because I think most people would just be like, well, just fucking if it gets shitty, turn it off.
I think 13 Reasons Why was the last TV series
Like one of my
I watched.
favorite
I don't know. I
sitcoms
feel
of
like you got to dig a little bit deeper than that.
one of my
as far as-
favorite sitcoms of all time is Arrested Development, but most people, including myself, will tell you after season 3, because the show originally stopped after season 3, and then Netflix picked it up and did 2 other seasons, which are kind of shitty. So I would just tell you watch just the first 3, but like you would have to watch it all because you have this
Yeah.
like completionist like mentality. I don't know. I think me and Gage are just like, oh, you feel like you're missing out on so much.
Yeah.
So much more.
I also don't like watching a lot of stuff by myself. And that's the
Yeah.
thing is, I mean, I do watch things by myself, but I do like to enjoy it with others. And it's not a thing where I'm like, if there's random people in the house and I'm on season 3 episode 4 of Breaking Bad, I can't be like,
Yeah.
hey everyone, let's watch this together, because everybody's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know,
Right.
it's like your own thing. You're on your own path, and I like experiencing it with other people, and I can't.
Hey, I mean, me, Kyle, Caleb, and Nathan have all seen Breaking
Yeah,
Bad.
you've all
so
seen it, but I don't.
We can. Talk
Would you guys
about it all
want to
the time.
watch it all?
I mean, not like all the way.
Yeah,
through,
exactly.
I mean,
but,
eventually I want to watch the whole series over again,
I've
but I
seen
want to wait.
Breaking Bad.
I want to wait a couple.
I've
of
seen
years.
Breaking Bad 3 times,
I've only seen it once,
so it's
like
so
all
good.
the way through.
So goddamn good.
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I think we're just like, oh, there's just like so much. There's like, you look at like cinematic storytelling in a different way. There's certain stories I feel like
Yeah.
that just I mean, I've said this.
I could just watch El Camino. There, Breaking Bad movie.
If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, El Camino is just gonna be boring. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I've said this recently. There's a lot of hot takes coming out of my mouth this episode. But honest to God, I think Spider-Man specifically would work best in like either a show or a series format.
Every superhero TV show I've seen. The thing.
I love a lot of the Spider-Man movies, but I think if the best adaptation of the comics.
Here's the
would be a
thing.
show.
I'm really curious about these Disney Plus Marvel shows because I'm like so invested because I've watched every MCU movie. So then it then it really fucks with me because I'm like, well, I gotta watch all the MCU. I've seen all the movies, but then I'd have to watch all the TV shows. What the heck? So it's just like, I'm really interested to see where those go, and I hope they have a high budget because all the superhero shows I've seen on TV, I guess, they look fucking shitty.
Well, if you're talking about like the CW stuff, like those shows are really low budget. They're pretty
fucking
campy.
shitty.
But like if you've seen
if they look the same as the MCU and they have the same kind of budget and it's not like really cringy CGI,
I think you just need to be exposed to like a little bit higher production. Produced shows.
I think you're still in like the I think that stigma used to exist like 10, 20 years ago, but it's only been like recently that TV's had this like renaissance where like, oh shit, like TV shows can look like just as good as shit that I would see in the theater. That's still like a very recent phenomenon.
Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, The Leftovers, Dexter.
Like Breaking Bad has like at least like $1 million budget every episode.
Yeah, but like, do any of those involve time travel?
Dexter's coming back for a 10th season. That's all. I wanted to just say that because I wanted to say that really
Have
bad.
you ever seen any of the Daredevil?
They don't care at all because they haven't seen Dexter.
Don't like it?
No.
Dexter's amazing.
See, there's another thing. There's a Marvel Netflix thing with like Daredevil, and I tried to watch it, and I was like, okay.
All right, well, all we can do is try to entice you.
Yeah, it just didn't feel the same. I'll watch that JFK miniseries, and
I mean, hey, if you watched Breaking Bad and you still felt the same way as you do now, I would never bitch again.
Yeah,
because most of my argument is just like, you don't know TV.
Here's the thing.
Breaking Bad.
I got my dad into Breaking Bad.
I actually watched
the last person I thought would enjoy it.
The first
gotta watch more than
2 or 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, and I was just like, eh.
Gotta watch more than that, pal.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's fucking.
Rather watch Malcolm in the Middle.
All right, we have like 8 minutes.
Do you like Malcolm in the Middle?
Love Malcolm in the Middle.
What's a TV show you like?
Well,
I really like that show too.
I watch a lot of TV as a kid.
We're gonna bust through this next question. Speaking of TV shows,
maybe you like comedic TV shows. Maybe that's it.
The Office, love The Office.
Okay, I think we figured it out.
Speaking of TV shows and comedic TV shows, we got a movie request.
Movie request
from Jesse. Drake and Josh Go Hollywood.
I actually want to watch that though.
I do too.
Wait, double feature though. Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, and then Drake and Josh Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Double feature.
Let's do that for. What if we did that for April Fool's Day?
I'm down.
Let's do it. We're gonna do it.
It's booked. It's on the.
All right. Calendar. April Fool's Day. We're doing the Drake and Josh fucking.
Hell yeah.
For you, Jesse.
It's happening.
I'm like genuinely excited.
I know, me too. I haven't seen those in forever.
Not even in like an ironic way. I'm just like.
I feel like every 10 episodes we should do like a personal like.
Yeah, let's not tie ourselves to that just yet. But we'll talk.
Well,
about
I was gonna say like maybe in our like next episode, the 20th episode, we could do like our what's it called, guilty pleasure movies or whatever.
Maybe.
I don't know. Our favorite.
See what happens.
Maybe. I definitely want to.
I'll tell you what. If we might need to figure out a better time to film these, so I'm not so tired.
Yeah, we always film these like
Friday night after my long work week at like midnight, and I'm just like,
quit your job and come back to us, baby.
Baby, come back. Baby, come back. Blame it.
You can block.
You can blame it all on me. Racism.
Hey, we didn't talk about Jews today.
Doing
9.
I definitely think. Fuck off. I definitely think we could do like we should plan shit for like our 50th and our 100th and all shit.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that. I want to talk about
1000th episode. We got Donald Trump coming on. Just you wait.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. He's replacing you.
What were you gonna say?
I do want to talk about TV shows on this at some point. I do want to.
I'll keep an eye out for TV
What
show
if we
news.
talked about? What if we watched the JFK? It's called 11/22/63. You just said you were excited to do it.
Let's watch it. Yeah, let's watch it. I'm just joking.
What we talked about it on the podcast?
Yeah, I'm down.
I think you're gonna really like it.
Yeah, I'm
especially.
up for it.
I mean, time travel.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams is one of the executive producers.
This movie's gonna fuck you up, dude.
I know. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be, if I really, really love it. Like, what if I like it more than the Iron Giant? I'm like, it's not a movie.
I don't
break.
I don't know if that'll happen, but anyway,
Well-
we've also talked about in the future we want to do an episode. I don't know when, maybe after October. We want to talk about the Dirties and Operation Avalanche.
And Garfield, A Tale of Two
And
Kitties.
Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Tune in for our Halloween episode coming soon.
Yeah, which we're still sort of figuring out. What we're
Starring
gonna do
Scott Mays.
Probably gonna skip next week and
You're gonna
come
have
back
your
to you
dad
with,
on?
No.
with
Why'd
an
you say
awesome
that?
Halloween
for it.
episode.
All right.
Should we say what we're gonna be talking about?
Wait for the Halloween
Oh,
episode.
I mean, does
Fuck
Kyle even know?
Yeah, I talked to him about it.
Okay.
I don't actually remember.
All right, the
Other-
plan for the Halloween episode is the Evil Dead series, as well as the Wolf of Snow Hollow.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yes.
Thank you for.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no.
I didn't mean to steal the thunder.
Thank
out of
you
your-
for watching.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Dialogue.
Thank you for existing, baby.
We all have Letterboxd
Yes.
as well as a YouTube channel.
All of us will be down in the description below.
You can buy us
Good
on
try,
the
good
on the
try.
black market.
Yeah.
You can watch us strip for $5.
Right.
OnlyFans.
We all have OnlyFans.
Yep.
Hey. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
We're available on. Say it with me, everyone. Spotify.
Pornhub. Oh shit.
Pornhub.
Fuck. Sorry.
You laugh, but tonight at like 3 in the morning, I'm gonna just start uploading all of our videos to Pornhub.
We should see if they get any
Do it.
hits.
Hits.
You know you can. You can upload it. People upload fucking Minecraft Let's Plays to Pornhub is just because.
That's hilarious.
Why do you know this, Kyle?
Cause I'm on there every day, dude.
Dude.
No. Don't be that. Don't act like okay. Don't be that kid in middle school who's like, "What's Pornhub? I've never heard it." Come on.
Did you ever hear me say that once?
No, but
The dialogue podcock.
the dickalog.
The diet hub.
The
Dick.
Listen to us on
Poop.
Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts.
Now Pornhub.
A lot of Pornhub, and there's a bunch of others.
Yeah.
Honestly, Anchor keeps our aggregator that we use keeps adding more. Like your thing's available on this thing.
That's cool.
This website I never heard of. So there's like way more than that. But our primary ones are those.
You have fun uploading that to Pornhub.
Subscribe or I'll kill Micah's cats.
Just 2 of them. One of them's nice.
Don't kill Pippin. I love Pippin.
Yeah, Pippin's the nice one.
Hopefully we'll have Pippin on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm really hungry. I have to shit. Just like every I'm
Oh,
doing the
look at that. We're
I
counting
told
down.
you.
We got 40 seconds.
Oh fuck. All right.
Letterboxd. We're on Instagram. We're on
I already
YouTube.
said all the things. We just quick think of something to do before the thing dies. No, not me. You have to do something else.
What if it doesn't save or something?
Oh no. This is so.
The Juice did 9/11.
Did you hear that, guys? The Juice did 9/11.
Juice.
Was it apple or
Was it
grape?
apple
We'll never
juice?
know.
Was it orange juice? What kind of juice were it, Kyle?